Hi everyone, welcome to episode 14. Yes, we've made it to 14 episodes of Enforcer and the Dude. Paul Morris, Russell Ingall coming at you from the Norwell Motorplex, and we have a jam-packed show once again. No, it's not going to be the 2-hour movie length episode. We're shortening her up, but man, we've got quality, not quantity this time, that's for sure. So we've got our first driver, James Courtney, one for all you women out there. So James will be coming on to the show with us. We're also going to share the love. We are the genuine Love Island. We've got some young guns coming in as well. We're going to show some love to the young guns. Well, no one else does, so we will.
We will, mate. Supercars are pretty slack on promoting their youth, so...
Not us, mate. Not around here. Not Enforcer and the Dude. Absolutely. Yeah, so we got Will the Swill Brown, and we got the Birdman, Brodie Kostecki. He's on here too as well, so make sure you stick around for that as well. All the other news, Sandown reviews, TCR, we got everything. And of course, the McLaughlin engine debacle as well. So we got that coming on, and we're going to break that down too and tell you what it's all about.
Piece by piece.
Piece by piece, literally. So stick around for that. Here we go. Strap in, strap on. It's time to go.
Mate.
We're getting there. It's nearly the end of the year.
It's gone quick, hasn't it?
It's been a good ride though, hasn't
it? Yeah, it's been great. I just still love going to the racetrack and everyone giving us the feedback about how good we're going. So
how's Adelaide? I come down to the pub with you.
Yeah.
We went down to Tail and Bend pub on, what was it, Friday night?
Some good people in the country, isn't there?
There's some
nice
really
people
good.
In that town.
Yeah, we saw, who was it, Mark Martin we met?
Yeah, Mark Martin.
Yeah, it wasn't the NASCAR guy. I don't think he'd fit in a NASCAR old Mark Martin. He's a good old boy though.
He'd done a fair bit of racing.
Yeah, it's pretty
Speedway,
cool.
Solo bikes in England, and done a fair bit of racing. But yeah, some cool people in that town and right into their cars and racing.
Yeah. And they loved the show. And they loved it because they can understand it and we don't pull any punches. And
that's it.
Have a good time.
It was great.
Yeah, no, it was really good. So it was good out in the country. It was a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
So got out a few barmaids, so it was all good. So.
Leanne.
Oh, you did.
Leanne from the Tail and Bend pub.
G'day, Leanne from the Tail and Bend pub.
Yeah. Frank owned the pub. He was good too.
Yeah, Frank was good. Good feed too. So thanks to everyone up at Tail and Bend pub. Rightio, let's hop straight into it, dude. Been plenty going on, plenty of stories, racing at Sandown, so we're going to review all that as well. Now, Supercars have come out now, and because they've been watching our show, some of the earlier episodes, and remember we did that one about cost cutting, and we got to the tyres, and we said what they should do is eliminate the tyre bank. Waste of time taking all these dead use tyres around the place. Teams have got areas, and some have even got air-conditioned rooms and stores for them to try and maintain the integrity of the rubber. That's all getting thrown out. Roll up at the track, new tyres. About bloody time.
Fantastic, mate. So you're a broadcaster and an influencer, an industry influencer, mate.
Oh, we are, mate. We can both take credit for it. We both take a pat on the back for it. So
no, that's good move. So hopefully we had a little bit to do with pressuring them and showing them the light there. So
it was just every category in the world does it. I mean, you just roll up with your rims. Roll up, they put new tyres on from your first time you go out and practice. You can have new rubber on. You'll get a true indication on Friday on who the quick cars are, who the quick drivers.
That's the big one for me.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you just get a false read on the field. So we talk to the drivers when they come on about it, get their reaction about that too. It'd be good.
A few truck drivers will be happy too. They won't swirling around, messing around with old tyres and shaving them, measuring them, and all the rest of the stuff they do with them. So.
Good move, Supercars.
That's a bloody good move. So
fantastic.
About time, yeah. Now, what about Super 3 as well? That's come out that Super 3 is no more part of the Supercars family. Is that right?
Yeah, well, they still own that brand. What they're going to do with it, but they've removed it from the Kumo series.
Right.
So the Kumo V8 series will go and do a deal with ARG, Australian Racers Group, which is TCR and S5000. They'll run on there, which. Yeah, it'll see what happens. You know, some young guys still might go there, and it's still cost effective to learn, but it won't have that Super 3 branding on it.
So all supercars do, because there was an announcement came out that they were considering joining them with Super 2 because they realised the Super 2 field might be a bit depleted next year.
Yeah, that was the plan. So the plan was, let's combine those cars and have a race within a race. So you'd have Super 2 cars and Super 3 cars at the same race meeting, race within a race, so in different classes,
right?
I suppose, which I think would have been pretty good. Cam's said no, we've already sold the rights to that category to someone else. They own the rights to it. So Supercars went, well, you can go and play over there and we'll go and do what we're going to do. So
what's Super 2? What's going to happen with that then? Because the read that I'm getting, they're going to be a bit down on cars. I mean, because of the cost of it, there's a lot of people starting to run out of brass and not being able to afford to run it again.
Well, it's been neglected, I think. It's been neglected from a lot of ways. That if you're a customer in that category, you really don't get looked after very well compared to what you would do if you went and raced Porsche, or the incentives, the prizes, the things there that you want to incentivise the young driver to go and do. Even their social media is just absolute crap, Yeah. Instagram.
That's an important part of it, isn't it?
Instagram and Facebook is how young people communicate, and if you look at Supercars, Super 2 Instagram, it's just non-existent. And when they do something, it's just a token gesture that someone's ticked a box and got it done. So,
and it's the most important thing because you're promoting a new brand of driver. I mean, they're out there trying to sell themselves. So they need a leg up with all of that.
They're completely out of touch. They need to get that sorted, and they're more interested in fining you $1,000 for not turning up to a dog and pony show that no one goes to anyway than actually helping the people in there. So that needs some rebranding. Looks like they're doing it. That thing we spoke about by putting some prize money up.
Yeah, that got announced too.
That got announced. So
that now to break that down, that money, especially for the winner, was it 400?
400 grand.
Okay. That you have to. That's for getting into the main game only.
Yeah,
so it has to be spent within.
Yeah, which that's fine. You know, if you're in Super 2, your goal is to get to the main game. So if you take someone like, let's use Bryce Ford as an example.
Yep.
He wins the championship. He's not going to get the 400 this year, but if he was, he'd have the 400, and he's probably got that amount again as his personal sponsor bank. So he's getting up into the nearly $1 million that he might be able to bring to a team. Which, when you look at it, you take, someone like James Courtney. James is coming on, but they're going to have, if you're looking at it on paper, you're going to employ James Courtney for 400 or 500, or have a chance at a young kid that's got a bit of dough. The swing's looking pretty good, but they still have to be competitive.
It's just, I applaud them for having that money because it's going to help, but it's just enough money to get yourself in trouble. That's the problem, because no one's going to look at you under $1 million, basically.
Well, you don't know. You've got to get in the
main
door
game to get in the main game.
Yeah, if you're good enough and get in the door and show you what you can do. Look, Anton's proved it. He's made the step and made an impact when he's gone into the main game. But the reason he's made an impact is because he had the team. The team believed in him.
Yeah.
He wasn't there for the dough. So the dough is nice, but you still have to have the team believe in the driver they got and get on with it.
Does that work if you only do the endurance races? Say you could buy yourself an endurance race.
I think it should.
Does it count for that?
I think it should.
I reckon it should too.
I think it should. If that's the way
you can get
in. It is. If that's the way you can get in and do a deal, that should count.
So you can get a main game team with just the endurance series. I mean, that's a pretty good deal. Maybe a wild card here.
Maybe a wild card, whatever you need to get it done. But well done, Supercars. I think it's good, and it breathes some life into that series.
Yeah. And it's definitely needed, that's for sure.
Yeah, and the next thing is they've got to work out how to trim some costs out of it.
Massively.
Dropping around is going to help. But,
I don't agree with that.
Double-edged sword for you.
Yeah, I don't agree with it at all. That I'd rather see the costs of running the cars or some sort of injection with tyres, something to help the teams out, because reducing rounds, only 6 rounds for a new driver especially, that's one thing you do need. You need testing and you need race miles.
You do. But anyway, that's one way to trim the budget. It'll breathe life into it, get some costs out of the cars, start using Super 2 as a way of looking at these control components. So that's what's going to happen.
Hey, we can pump our tyres up a bit more here too.
What have we done?
All right. Again, I hate talking about supercars all the time, but they just keep giving us so much material. It's funny. Pete, our cameraman here, our expert cameraman, he said to me when we first started doing this show, he said, "Do you reckon you're going to get enough content you know, do you reckon you'll have enough? I said, trust me, when it comes to supercars, they'll give us,
keeps rolling
they'll
in
give
the
us
door.
plenty, mate. I mean, they just keep giving. They've come out with, they're going to have a fan forum to have the fans have input into the next Gen 3 car in supercars, which I think is a bloody good idea. And something that we've been talking about here. I'm sure they might have got a bit of an idea from here how much fan influence.
Well, I think we've proven that there are some fans there that know what's going on. Of course, you've got the people that are a bit out of control, but the majority of people who we meet have a real interest in the sport and have an opinion that means something.
Yep. Absolutely, I reckon that's a great idea. And we've proved it here. I mean, all the comments that come in and ideas, and some of them are a bit out there, but others are achievable. When you look at them and go, oh yeah, okay. And it's the fans that decide. You know, it's not about
fans,
anyone else.
No one's in the game, mate.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
You're done. So
no, that's a great initiative, and it should be interesting to see what actually comes out of that. And hopefully they listen to the fans as well.
Well, they have to, mate. The fans is what allows this series to be commercially viable.
Yep, totally agree. Now, here we go. This is the hard one. The McLaughlin engine problems that went on at Bathurst, a qualifying engine that they found illegal. So there's a whole raft of things to go through there. So what I wanted to do was grab you. You're a tech guru.
I don't know about that, mate, but I'd get myself out of trouble if I got into it.
Rock into the into your engine shop and explain to everyone what actually in what was wrong with the engine, as well as explain how they came about with the decision they got made and everything else in between. So let's go into there. Let's go into Paul Morris's engine shop, check it all out. We'll explain it, then we'll come back here and we'll debate a little bit after that. So stay tuned. Right, now here we are in the Paul Morris Motorsport engine shop. Dude, now this is a tough one. And firstly, I want to explain to everyone right out the gate here, we're just going on facts here. We've got our personal opinions, of course, which I'm sure we'll express during this. This is a tough one, all right? This is a tough one, this whole engine debacle and what the findings come up with, but we've gone on the facts from the sheet as it's been printed out, the debrief sheet, the charge sheet, the steward's hearings from Supercars, things we've found out in the background as well, behind the scenes.
Investigative journalism, Russ?
We went out.
You might get a job on 60 Minutes.
We did a bit of poking around. It's been like a 60-minute saga too, Paul. So first of all, we want to break it down so everyone can understand, because not everyone's a guru on engines and specs. So we want to put it as simply as we can in terms of what the illegality with that qualifying engine of Scott McLaughlin's from Bathurst was all about. So it was all about the lift, the valve lift of the engine. And valve lift controls the amount of fuel basically that goes into the engine.
Fuel there into motor,
So which creates power.
Yep.
More lift, you get more fuel you jam into the thing, faster you go, more power. In layman's terms, that's about it.
That's it, Russ.
Right, okay.
That's where they control it.
So run it down to us about, firstly, the components that are restricted through a homologation process or what the teams have to submit at the beginning of the year.
In the engine specification document?
Correct, yeah.
So this is all locked into the engine, so you get your camshaft, your push rod, and then your valve spring, and then your rocker. This is where they're measuring it. That sits on the valve, okay? Moves that up and down. So all these components here are locked into their engine specification document, and theoretically, on paper, they should give you 700 thou lift.
So that's locked in so right from the start, this is locked in at the beginning of the year. You have to give Supercars your document of your engine specs.
Yep.
And that's it.
That's locked in, that's what you use.
Can you change them during the year?
No. Well, it'd have to be a catastrophic event like the where you bought your rockers from got bombed or something. So force majeure or something like that you would. But once you've locked in, and they're locking this stuff in more and more and more, trying to control development. So it'd be pretty unusual if you had to change something there. It'd be
development and costs.
Yeah.
So camshaft to start with, the camshaft,
component,
which operates the rockers and the push rods, which is the component.
Yeah.
That we've
so
got
this
issues
lift is running on here.
Yep.
It's moving that as it runs around, pushes the push rod up, and your rocker sits on the end there.
Yep. So it all basically sits up here, So basically you've got
You got it, Russ.
There, yeah, we go there.
There's your spring and your
That
head.
pushes it up and down.
Moves the valve up and
moves
down.
the valves, right.
Letting it in.
So that's how it all works. This comes from one manufacturer.
Yeah, that's a control
set
component.
specification.
Yep.
So that's it. That's
Yeah.
what you
All Ford
rebuild an
engines have the
engine, you want to
same
put a new camshaft in, you order one of these, whoever makes it, which I think is it Cotton Cams?
I think it is, yeah.
They send another one down, but it all has to be the same lobe height, all the rest of it.
Yeah. So again, theoretically, 700 thou lift from those components.
Right, that's the amount of lift that this rocker has to produce.
Yeah.
Now the rockers, I believe there's a couple of manufacturers of these,
Yep.
and that's to the individual.
Well, it depends what you use on your engine, but that's controlled in your specification document. So that shouldn't change.
That shouldn't change.
No.
Okay. So what they found.
It's a mathematical equation to give you 700 thou lift.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It shouldn't change.
So that's it.
Yeah.
So your 700th hours is the absolute maximum what everyone runs to.
Theoretically.
Theoretically. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
so,
there's a tolerance.
Right. There's a bit of a tolerance. So
Yeah.
we'll get to that. Right. So that's the breakdown of it. That's how it all works basically. So what happened when they have pulled the engine, the qualifying engine, the Supercars, and measured everything within the engine and then got to this side of it, they found that it's got too much lift. So the
13
rocker,
thou. 13 thou.
pushing this valve down
Yep.
has got more. And
Yep.
by doing that, that puts more...
It's opening that valve more.
Yep, so it's just like a tap. Basically, think of it as a
turn the tap.
Turn the tap on.
That's a good way of explaining, right?
Yeah, more fuel goes
In the shower,
like more water.
open the tap
yeah,
more, you
open the
get
tap
more
up, and so that's what it's done. So it's got, if for whatever reason, whether it's the camshaft or this rocker, it's got more lift by how much?
Well, from the mechanical specification of those components, 13 thou. But the big thing here is they give you 10 thou tolerance.
Okay, so 700 is
the theoretical
Yep.
lift that those components should make, the
Right.
mathematical equation.
Yep.
So if you do your maths and work that out, that should give you 700 thou lift there.
right.
Supercars give you 10 thou, so they give you a tolerance of 10 thou, so it shouldn't exceed more than 710.
Right. Okay. That's reasonable. That's
It's
reasonable.
10 thou. So when you're building the engine, you should say, I'm going to aim for 700, and if something goes wrong, which could be you could have an over-rev and stretch the valve, you could get valve seat damage.
Right.
That's to allow for the human error, manufacturing tolerances. The 10 thou's there to stop you falling, stop you going illegal.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the measurements that they've come up with I believe, according again to the document from the findings, from the hearings, or from the stewards' reports, was that it's gone to 713.
713 that was the maximum out of 5 cylinders, I think. That was the maximum over, yeah.
Yep, okay. So...
3 thou you're talking about, not much.
So, no, true, but 75% of the engine lift, basically, is over. So there was no argument, that was clear cut, because it's gone over the tolerance allowed, and from the phone calls that I've made around the place, most run on the set. Well, just about every engine in the field runs at 700.
Yeah, we've
so they were 13 over, basically.
13 over what everyone else
10
does.
of that
so
was
we've rung around, and I've spoken to a lot of engine builders, and you have two, and they say when we build the motor, we build it at 700, and we use that 10 thou to stop us getting caught cheating.
Right. Okay.
Okay. I think what these guys have done, they've built it to the tolerances, and then something's gone wrong, and they've gone over.
Gone over.
Yeah.
Well, dude, that explained it pretty well.
I think we got it covered, mate.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, though, isn't it?
The worst thing about it all, it just smears Scotty, who's been doing a good job inside the car. So that's, for me, that's the sad side of it.
Yeah, it's one thing we've got to get to. And actually, it's funny you're talking about the fines. Roland Dane came out in a statement saying that he believes it's futile giving it just a minor fine or any monetary fine to one of the best funded, in his words, one of the best funded or the best funded team in the country. So he says total waste of time fining them for any indiscretions. So basically saying the engine fines, and what you were saying as well in the engine shop, that at the end of the day you've got to go harder, hit them where it hurts.
Well, you've got to find something that hurts them. And
oh, well, not when I say them, we shouldn't say DJ Penske in particular. Anyone that does anything that gets caught for doing anything illegal or contravenes the rules have got to be hit a lot harder.
Yeah, well, what he's saying is a monetary fine for someone like Brad Jones or Roland or in that position hurts your operational budget.
Yeah, absolutely.
It puts, you can't write, 10 grand knocks you around.
Yeah.
Well,
he was saying it's like 5,000 before that. But Roland got smashed up a bit for those comments because...
He's been pretty quiet, hasn't he? Hasn't said anything, and then he's popped his head up and said something logical and got smashed up by the punters. But
the problem with Roland and the punters, it got such a... When he came on the show, he rolled out like a rock star.
Yeah.
Now he's starting to get smashed up again. I
He
know
needs
it's
to
a
come
lot of
back on.
social media. They come back on it. Yeah, we've got to get him back on at some stage. But the thing is about Roland, I think when he's quiet, is all the punters think he's doing stuff in the background when he goes quiet, He said, he's been really quiet, he's not making any quotes, so he must be causing a bit of shit behind the scenes. So, which he probably is. So, but that's it, we talk about Penske pushing the limits, I think, mechanically. I think Roland pushes the limits politically. Does that make sense?
it does.
Like on the political side,
Oh, yeah,
there's no one better. There's no one better.
He can manipulate the situation to suit himself very easily.
Yeah.
Does a good job of it.
Oh, by the way, James Courtney.
Okay, James.
So we haven't forgotten about
I was enjoying listening to the Roland chat. I wanted to jump in and say something.
Go and say it.
No, I reckon he's 100% right. It's, with that whole fine thing, I can't understand why the team, points-wise, they didn't get some sort of, championship points or team championship points taken off them, or because of that whole debacle brought the whole sport and made pretty much of a joke of Bathurst this year, and to walk away with, half of their fine was suspended, and then get that again on top of that with the qualifying engine. It's a shame. It's our biggest event. It's our Melbourne Cup. It's our grand final, and to walk away with that result and that taste in all the fans' mouth is it's sad.
It's pretty true, though, isn't it? I mean, a lot of the fans have said, and like I said, we'll bring you into it because it's interesting getting your perspective, because you are the first driver we've had on the show, by the way.
One first this year.
Well,
and affected by the outcome of the
absolutely.
of the Bathurst debacle.
But they're saying, it's only qualifying engine, so it only affected qualifying. But the thing is, even in Adelaide, when I was talking to a few punters, they said, well, hang on, if he started back of the field. Right, if that engine was caught earlier and he got started back of the field, who knows what would have happened? He still had him make his way through, could have got in a crash.
Even if they just gave them the field spread over that first lap and looked at what the last car finished and said that was 20 seconds or whatever it is, put 20 seconds on his race time, bang, that's your penalty. At least they gave them something that affected the result, because financially, like Roland said, it means nothing. Now it's who can buy Bathurst, really.
So I suppose the thing...
So you reckon a time penalty on the race result?
That's probably what
happened to Winko.
That's what I'm asking you.
Bingo.
Hey?
Yeah, exactly.
He
Something
got,
like that.
what did he get? 15 seconds for a crash he wasn't even in.
Oh, I did too.
That was one of
a good
Barguana's
point.
great calls.
So if they just said, hey, look, the field
That's a good
spread
point.
over at the end of the first lap was 15 seconds, put 15 seconds on his race time, that's where you finish.
Yeah.
But that's the point too. You can't say that, okay, it was only qualifying, it didn't affect the race. Qualifying always affects your race. And where you start, where you position in any race has a massive...
But even on the flip side of that, like Chaz did a cracking lap under the lap record as well, but he got no accolades for his lap and his performance, because Scott's sort of went that much quicker, but if he wasn't there to do it, or that had a different engine or whatever, then Chaz would have had that moment. So that's one thing that he'll never be able to get back. So there's ramifications. Also, the people that bet money on the result, or all those guys that sports bet on the top 10 shootout or the result.
That's true.
That's millions of dollars to those betting agents.
All that?
Yeah,
They've already paid out.
It's actually a good point.
Like it's not just our little, what we see, but on the broader scale.
So what
there's
happens
so
there?
many people that are
Because you can bet
affected.
on qualifying, can't you?
Yeah.
You can bet on everything.
So what happens with that then? If it's been...
They have to give the money back. It's a good point. Let's find out.
Yeah. So there's
That's
so
risky,
many
isn't
things
it?
that it's
Yeah,
affected,
yeah.
and that does put a
It's
bad.
interesting. Yeah.
In our sport, we're trying to grow, and new markets and all that betting side of things is a huge part. And for them to come away now and they're like, hey, well, what a farce this is.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But
Legality-wise too, like, outside of the sport too. Geez, you have to be careful with that sort of thing as well. I mean, they were trying to jump on it earlier. That was the point I was trying to make in the engine shop as well, they were trying to jump on this earlier, but there was all these curveballs where they couldn't get the parties together.
stalling.
Lawyers looked at things.
Well, whatever way, I don't know whatever you like to call it, but at the end of the day, they couldn't get all the parties together, whether it be management
the
or the
hearing.
people concerned with building the engine, all this sort of thing. It all pushed it out, and it just prolonged it all. It prolonged it to when they could actually, have a look at the engine and all the rest of it, that's just bad again as well. It just moves the smell further down the road.
I remember back in the day when it was my first, or when I was really young at Bathurst, at the end of being in the garage, and they'd be pulling the heads off and CCing the heads and stuff on the Sunday night and doing engine checks at the track, at the event.
Yeah.
Why can't they do that anymore?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's
well, there should be. Yeah, they obviously need to, mate. Well, if you're going to build a smoky qualifying engine and put it on pole, start the race on pole, then don't care if you get flung from the... I'm sure there'll be a better process of checking your qualifying engines, but
just before
we haven't seen that before.
Before we get into the life and times of James Courtney, all right, which we will, because we've gone the other way around, because we wanted to get your opinion on that whole thing.
We're probably going for it today.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Stop talking.
No, it's good, mate.
That's the good thing about this show. There's no time limits, mate.
Yeah, it's just those things that I don't think a lot of people have thought about, and their ramifications and how wide, and how many people it does affect.
Yeah. Now, and you has been a current driver and probably been through the ups and downs of the sport. What do you reckon Scotty's going through at the moment as well? Because, it can't not affect him, because he's won the biggest race of the year. He's won the championship this year, but it's definitely knocked the shine off of it. Like he's copping a fair bit of backlash through the team.
Yeah.
Do you reckon it's deserved of what he's achieved, or?
I think he has been clearly the best performer in that team, so I don't think you can slag the job that he's doing. I think, yes, the car has been amazing and sometimes maybe not so legal, but he hasn't put a foot wrong really all year, apart from the Gold Coast mistake. It is easier when the car's performing well, as you both know, but you can't really fault what he's done. Sure, it'd be emotional or affecting him in that he wanted to dominate. If he had these results without all this stuff going on, without the parity between the two makes, without the stuff at Bathurst, without the qualifying engine, he'd be like a god. But I think it's sort of pulling a lot of that away from him because of this, and I think it would be affecting him for sure. You want to have a clean skin and not be tarnished with that sort of stuff. So I think it does affect him, but I don't think it affects his performance in the car. I think outside of the car, his interaction with the fans has probably changed quite dramatically, in that the Holden guys are probably a bit more forward with him and sledging him a bit harder and things like that because of all this cheating stuff. So I think it would affect him outside of the car, and some of the comments that he's been saying in the press and things like that, you can see, like with all this we're all toxic, all that sort of stuff. We're competitors. We're here to race and compete. Any way you can get like an edge on the other guy or get him to be thinking about it, you do it.
Lob it in.
And him saying it doesn't affect me, they're all toxic. If it didn't affect him, he wouldn't be talking about it. So it is clearly affecting him.
Yeah.
And I think it would be hard for him because he's got to support his team, the guys that pay him the money. And like I came out when everyone was bagging those two guys, and I said, look, they're just doing what their employers told them to do. If Ryan told me to slow down, drop it back to second gear and hold the field up, ultimately I'm going to do what the guy tells me to do who pays me. So
would you?
Yeah,
you wouldn't have done.
There's no fucking way in the world I'd do that, mate.
I wouldn't let my teammate
I'd tell the
pass.
guy to get rooted and stand on the gas.
I wouldn't let my teammate pass. I'd drive Russ into the fence. But
you wouldn't have done to that extent, though. That was a bit.
I was getting a bit excited.
Yeah, that was a bit extent.
You'd question that.
Yeah.
You come over the hill and went, mate, I backed these blokes up a bit, and I can't even see the field in pit lane. You'd be
47 seconds is taking.
You go, hang on a minute, what's going on here?
Yeah, but everyone sort of slowed up a little to stop stacking time. We've both done it when we're teammates, Mus.
Everyone's done it.
That is taking the piss. But I think that's probably down to Fabian not managing it more, or having the shits that he's been asked to do it and making a bigger scene out of it.
That's the point I'll get with it. Fab's like, it's not my fault. Well, mate.
He didn't have to drop that far back and give that result. You only have
so what do you reckon he did it? You reckon he did it?
I reckon he did because he had the shits that he had to slow down.
He wanted to put a spotlight that he'd been getting shafted, you reckon?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's true.
If they say, it just seemed odd.
Everyone knows how long a fuel stop's. Between 23 and 27 seconds.
Yeah.
47 seconds. That's a long time.
Yeah, interesting.
Wouldn't you just back off and the team go, right, you've been cautious, like let him know that the time difference is there that he needs, and then
it's a bit like, I suppose, a bit like if you get team orders to let you teammate passes something and you stick your hand out, you stick the hand out and indicator on. Just make it obvious.
Drive onto the grass.
Yeah, make it obvious that.
I think
really
that's
good point.
probably a little bit of it as well that no one sort of said. So.
Yeah, okay.
What, you don't?
It's a good take. No, I agree. I hadn't actually thought about it. Yeah, but it makes sense.
It's either that or like.
Or he doesn't have a good concept of time.
The guys, anyway.
But either way, whatever the team did in that whole situation wasn't right. So whether it be, the whole party wasn't good.
Do you reckon this is Scotty's going down the road, and we'll finish up on this after this, but going down the road of, I like it to Ambrose. When Ambrose a little bit different in respect that it wasn't any mechanical issues or anything like this. It was
just
more.
Didn't
It was
like
more.
people?
Yeah, probably. He didn't like people, but didn't like the system. So the system got at him to
But
a
he
stage.
got some bad calls.
He did. He got
one
some.
at Perth when
The drivers worked him over too, though.
Yeah.
People like Murph and that worked him over
And
real
Ingall.
hard.
Yeah.
So internally, I was probably
The
the only.
snake.
I was probably
Russ the
the only
snake.
one who didn't. But come on, mate, I was actually nice to him. But
To his face.
No, but the drivers, you prick. The drivers gave him a whack over.
He doesn't know what to say now.
Come on, mate.
Okay, so.
I'm not like
It's your
that.
show, I'll back it
Yeah,
up.
it's my show. You all right?
Well, who knows how this will edit will end up, but anyway.
there's no edit.
There's no edit. Everything goes well. Everything goes
perfect.
in. But it looks like Ambrose, where he was going to call it quits if he didn't get that drive in the States, and that was through the president of Ford, who he knew that got him the NASCAR deal. He was ready to walk away from the whole lot.
Yep.
But he definitely wanted to get out of racing here. I can see a little bit of that Scotty will want to just beeline it to America and get the hell out of here. I don't know. That's the feel I'm getting.
I just think he's a racer. He wants to race. I know he does everything he possibly can to better himself
Yep.
out of the car and in the car. But to me, the saddest thing about that is his performance and how good he's been.
It's a shame, isn't it?
That he
It's a shame it's been
gets
tarnished.
smeared with it.
Yeah. Because you got to roll back to his first win in the JRM car.
Oh, mate, the guy's been
the
outstanding.
Volvo. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think everyone say, oh, that Volvo was a bullet. I don't think it was actually. It was okay. It had a good engine in it, all right.
Yeah,
But
Sounded
compared to
good.
his teammates, he wheeled it a lot harder. He wheeled the thing to the front. That race in Adelaide against Whincup where he passed me across the line, and I think people forget that part of it. That he actually he knows how to steer a car.
No, he's the man, but he doesn't get to be the man because of the other bullshit. So,
No. Speaking of the man,
yep.
now it's James Courtney. This is your life.
Oh, where's the book?
Where's the book?
It's just a piece of
Coming
paper.
That's it, a Wikipedia paper. Yeah, Wikipedia
No,
paper.
remember
with
when they do This Is Your Life? The old mate rolls out
Roger
with the big book?
Simpson.
No, this we're cheap production here, mate. She's an A4 and
Alright,
printed
perfect.
off of Wikipedia.
I know what happened.
You've done a fair bit of kit. You know that?
Yeah, I've been doing this 30
You've
years
been doing
now.
a bit. I don't think a lot of people know that because you're pretty controversial around the place too. You're a love-hate sort of guy with the punters.
Yeah, I've had my love-hate relationship with both of you guys at some point.
Yeah, no, but I think generally across the
We did
board.
have the point at
with punters.
SBR. Remember we were talking about it the other day, and you
That
said,
was all for the show, mate.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's what I mean. For the
Yeah, that was just part of getting people to watch TV.
But you're probably one of the only ones that come out and actually have a bit of a say, or pretty
Yeah.
aggressive on the track and
Yeah.
not worried about having mates on the track.
No,
No,
I'll be your mate, but I'll also run into you.
That's
I want to get by.
I've done the same.
You want to get by on your block? That's why we got on well, mate. So we'd run into each other and call each other a dick, and then we'd be right after that.
4 times World Kart champion.
Twice.
Twice.
You can
That's
double it.
right.
I'm
Okay, all
good
right.
to go. It's four.
Twice is good. And I still regard that as some of the hardest motorsport that you'll ever do is karts. So to win a couple of world titles is pretty good. British, I thought you won.
I was leading, and then the Jaguar shunt, and then I missed 3
That was
months.
to the Formula
race.
3 because I thought you were in.
we
I
had it-
thought you
only
actually
lost
won the
by a
British
couple of
Formula 3.
points. Yeah,
But
Everyone
because of the
says we
shunt.
would have, because I missed
The
3
British
months
Formula
of it,
Ford champion.
as you were.
Yeah. Oh, you only got second at the Formula Ford Festival.
Yeah,
I won it, mate.
I know.
Yeah, okay. My name's up on the Kennegon at Brands Hatch there,
I
mate.
saw it.
I just thought
Tried
I'd
to
better throw
pick
that
it
in.
Try to scratch it off. There was also these, at Van Diemen, there was this little hole. You could, it had this little tool that could go around and unlock a door.
Oh, I
And it had
don't know what you mean,
something
mate.
RI
Right.
there.
I don't know.
Skunk works.
Someone was knocking off kit out of the factory. I don't know who that was. No, we couldn't afford spares, mate.
You didn't have to, you got it for free.
Anyway, it's not about me, it's about you. It's about you, dude.
We followed each other. I followed you through the whole routine,
Yeah.
Ross. So,
You
and
reckon-
then after me, which I only found out recently, Pi, my teammate, did what we did.
Through Van Damme as well?
Yeah. Oh no, he did another. I don't even know what
He
it
did
was.
Formula Ford,
But he
didn't
did
he?
Formula Ford and won the Formula Ford Championship.
Yeah.
10 years after me. And I was 10 years after you.
So you went over pretty young too when you went.
I
old
was
were you?
14 when I left.
So just packed the bags and
Yeah.
gone?
Yeah. By myself, went to Italy.
Yeah.
Well, I raced at the Junior World Championship and ended up winning it. And then they said, you can go home with mum and dad or you can stay here and be part of the team and live at the workshop. So I said bye to mum and dad and stayed there. So it's
Pretty big deal at 14, isn't it? Just to like go, well, different country.
Thinking, now my daughter's just about to turn 12 and I'm thinking in 2 years' time, that's what I was like. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, I was pretty determined and it's what I always wanted to do. And yeah, I can't believe my mum and dad let me actually do it.
It's a big thing.
Big call.
Yeah,
Paid off.
it's
kind
huge.
of. Well, to this point
I suppose it's a
anyway.
bit different. It's not like you're going backpacking. I mean, they sort of know where you are and everything. But
Yeah,
even
and I had
still,
to work. Had to go to the race team each day, and they gave me jobs, brought me a scooter to get to and from the apartment to there, and sort of kept, a really close eye on me and everything.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sort of just free range living out in the middle of nowhere. But we raced so much, and I did all the testing and developing with Tony Kart, the kart team, and tyre testing and everything. So we were testing 2 or 3 times a week anyway.
And you still got a big tie with karts now with your own kart?
I do.
Which
like you guys come from, I had to work pretty hard to to make it through, and big believer in paying it forward, like what you're doing with the guys here, and Musk did with Excel at one point.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have those people support me throughout my career, I never would be here. So
good.
I'm sort of giving a bit back through the karting side of things. Got some young guys I pay for their karting and help fund, and got our own brand.
So you
and
bought
trying
it
to,
financially.
yeah.
That's good, mate.
Yeah, so
That's
it's not a money maker, but it's a feel good thing, and it gives me a little bit. I love going there, seeing how pumped the kids get, and I remember being a young kid at Oran Park watching. When Seaton and Scaife and those guys in Crompton, unfortunately, would be there testing, and they'd come down and have a look at the kart race, and it was like, Jesus, come. And to be able to just make and change and put smiles on kids' faces that easy, it's
that's where it all starts. Karting's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That dude.
Yeah, so that's cool. Really enjoying that.
I was plucking through the archive already.
Oh no.
Right, yeah. It's pretty. No,
Is it a photo of me and you?
No, it's a good one. No, have a look. This is 2001 British F3. Right?
Was that Sato? Davison?
Yep, Davison.
Oh, there's an overlap.
Your team's pretty happy.
That's Phil. He's works at Red Bull. There's
Oh,
Andre. Lotterer just went past, the guy in front.
Yeah, a Sato.
Takuma. Oh, switch back. Right. Overlap again.
It's not a bad effort.
See?
4 360s, keep going.
Oh, pressing on, mate.
So where'd you end up in that one? Did you get back up there?
Probably first.
No.
No, I'm just joking. No, that's crazy. That's
Thruxton was unbelievable track, wasn't it?
that corner church. It's flat. It's crazy, and then you come out and you get a toe, and
Because you're flat for about a minute. Like
Really?
you're just flat. Any category, doesn't matter whether it's a Formula Ford,
Yeah.
S3, touring car. You're just flat all around this huge sweep.
But Anthony Davison he was my nemesis the whole way through karting.
Yeah.
It was Briscoe and Davison were friends, and Jensen and I were mates, like 2 English and 2 Australian guys, and we sort of hung out because we were the only guys that spoke English. So Ryan hung out with Anthony, and I hung out with Jensen.
Yeah.
So it was always this big war between us, and it was that was always happening because we did Formula karting, Formula Ford, then F3, and then some F1 stuff together and whatever. So
Do you reckon that, because you had a reputation as being a pretty hard-ass driver in this category, I find that, I brand myself with that as well, when you race in Europe, that's that sort of racing that goes on, especially in an open wheeler.
There wouldn't have been an investigation about that, was there?
No,
You'd like
press
to go
on.
and sort it
Next
out.
time when it rolls with the other way, you do exactly the same thing to that guy.
It just bewilders me how sanitised our racing's got.
Yep, absolutely.
No one got hurt.
Yeah.
Lost some
And
places.
that culture's slipping down to the grassroots categories. Like we went to the XL Nationals on the weekend. There's DSOs and driving standards, and you're like, what?
Why?
Why, mate? Go and have a race.
Yeah.
No, but it almost protects the guy getting, protects the guy getting past so much that it doesn't, like if you have a go and you have a bit of a rub, you get penalised so heavily that, it's not worth the drama or the points difference to try and pass them if the racing's, because the cars are so close now.
Yeah.
You
going for the points and not the race.
And then, like, if there is a pass on and the guy just closes, then it's automatically the guy passing is at fault until you can prove that you're innocent.
Yeah.
So
it's a valid point. Anyone that's done European racing comes back because that's how they race.
US racing. It's
I think
get going or get run over. It's.
I was there for 6 years, I think, racing around like Europe, UK, and I think I only went to the stewards once, and that was because I sped under a yellow flag. It's the only time in 6 years of racing.
You didn't just put your hand up? That's the trick. Hand up and keep it lit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't do that one. I never did that. It's a good idea. But that's it. I mean, that's the difference, eh? And there was some hard-ass racing, but it's just, they just don't do the stuff they do here.
I don't know how it's crept in, but it's all vanilla.
It's always been like here.
S5000 on the weekend, there was Anton and Thomas Randall got a little bit together at the hairpin, and next thing he's got a penalty. You're like, what?
Yeah, why?
Why?
Yeah.
He's given some bloke a job to make a decision, so he's got to do it. Just don't give him the job.
And it's a NASCAR series or the European way of, you get one back again, loaded down the road.
It's called racing, it's not called following. So it's like when they came and interviewed me after with Jack and Delberto or whatever it was. They're like, oh, what do you think? And I said, good on him, have a crack. Sometimes it doesn't come off, but I'd be upset if you just drove around behind him the whole time. We're here to race, so let's race.
We did it. We
actually thought it was Delberto had blood on his hands there for turning in.
We reviewed it on the last show, and we reckon, it was on. So you got to make a decision whether you want to die or you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
The guy
and that's the thing, the guys could just keep driving and keep going around the outside.
Yeah, because we brought in case you didn't watch it, and I'm a bit pissed off you didn't watch our last episode, mate. But anyway, we brought up the pass on Winterbottom and Scott McLaughlin with the Volvo. Remember he did that big slide job and that? Exactly the same corner, same thing, but Winterbottom decided he wasn't going to crash. So, that was a difference. But anyway. Hey, another thing I dug up, right? And again, I didn't know this.
On track information?
No, when you, reliving probably not one of your best moments in Europe, when you shunted the Jag F1 car testing and sort of knocked you around a little bit. It was a massive one. It was actually Michael Schumacher that come around, assisted you in the wreck. Is that right?
Yeah. So
tell us about that.
The right rear bottom wishbone failed, so it's carbon with a titanium plug into the gearbox, and it pulled because the guy didn't bond it properly or left the paper on the plug that was holding it in the machine instead of peeling the paper off and then bonding it. So anyway, so it pulled out.
Component failure.
Yeah, so it hit the wall, warp factor 9, still 340 kilometres an hour or something, and then it come back on, engine broke off the tub, gearbox off the engine, it was like canoe, and because the track was blocked, so Schumacher was the first one. But the funny thing about that story was that exact test the year before he rolled at the first chicane, and I was the first car there and pulled him out. So
serious?
That's funny. Yeah, didn't think it was funny at the time, but afterwards looking back, but
that was massive. That knocked you around a fair bit too.
Yeah, so that's pretty much. I think it was 3 months. So my brain was swollen and bleeding. So every week I had to go and have MRIs and all that sort of stuff to make sure that there wasn't too much pressure. And I lost 3 months, and it was pretty much a year before I didn't have headaches. So I had a constant headache, and gradually as it went on, it sort of went away. But then as soon as noise or at night driving with lights, it would just be a crazy headache. So it was pretty much a year I was done with that. But it did both, because as I hit before, hands was there, but it broke both collarbones. So I went through because it went straight in. Yeah. So I went through the seatbelt and hit the steering. And
Jesus. Really?
Yeah.
So it's decent.
Yeah, 67 Gs or something. There's blood.
Right. Do you remember it happening?
No, I remember it. I remember it. The wheel failing because I
this is going to be
dropped on the corner, and I saw the wheel go past or in the mirror. I thought, fuck, that's bad. And then the side pod ripped off because it's all connected. So I pulled the floor off the wing, the side pod. So then there's no drag. So then it doesn't slow down. And because the corner's torn off, there's no brake because there's no close. Well, there is on the front, but one wheel's off the ground because it's bicycling.
They're not stopping.
It was at Ascari, so you come up under the bridge and then it turns left and then it goes around to the right, that sweeper, and then left again. Because there's a curb there, it hit the curb and just flew and then just went straight into the fence and then come back so it went in at 320 something and went backwards at 60. So there was blood coming out of my ears, my nose, my mouth, all my eyes were bleeding out of my neck. my arms, everywhere. It was just blood coming out of me because of the impact.
Yeah.
So when I remembered it falling and thinking, should I hold on? This is going to be pretty big. And then I woke up with old mate yelling at me, and I went to talk on the radio to say, and I couldn't move my arm, and I was like, fuck this is a bit serious. So then I opened my visor, and then Michael saw my face with all blood because my eyes were bleeding, and he was telling me to stay in the car, and you don't want to stay in there. So I was pushing him to get out. Anyway, we got out, and then I just sat beside the car, laid there. But yeah, I couldn't move for 12 hours. I had no movement on the right side, and all my face and everything relaxed. So I was paralysed on the right side, and it took probably about 12 hours. Still, I started to then get pins and needles. So then I thought it's going to come back, and then gradually it came back. And yeah,
man, that's major.
Horrific.
Yeah, it's
pretty exciting. But yeah, so I did hold on,
and that's what cost you the S3 championship in the end. So
yeah.
Did that, and that obviously must have affected the whole F1 path for down the road.
No, I kept testing after that, but the thing that did probably ruin my whole thing was the sale to Red Bull, because like anything, when someone comes in and buys something new, the Red Bull guys had their junior program had already started, and Christian Clean was their guy, and so once they bought Jaguar, then it was done pretty much. Then I went to Japan and did all the Toyota stuff.
Yeah. Interesting story.
Yeah, and in Japan, I started with right when all the hybrid stuff come in. So I did all the initial stuff for the big prototypes for at Le Mans, so all their engine work with all their hybrid systems, and all their traction control and all the energy recovery and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, so I did all that with those guys. Did Formula Nippon, Formula 3, and Super GT.
So out of that thing, like just that one bout of bad luck, I mean, you're sailing towards.
Yeah,
F1?
see, if I won the
there.
F3 championship, in my contract it was guaranteed F1 seat. So, I was ready. It was, because I had a crazy lead in the championship, and yeah, it was. I think I had it's like 17 of 19 poles up until that point or something. But yeah, then obviously I didn't win, and then because of that, the contract they couldn't use the contract anyway, or because they sold to Red Bull. And then because I hadn't achieved that in the contract, then they didn't use me.
Does it worry you much?
They had a bit
not
to
doing
get
it?
out.
Like, is it?
No, I think everything happens for a reason. I think, I probably lost, like how we talk about how passionate you are about racing and all that sort of stuff. You'd lose it in open wheelers because you're never really racing. Like, the cars are amazing to drive. But to race there, it's so friggin' annoying because of the aerodynamics and all this sort of stuff. And everyone's switching off from F1 because there's no passing. So I lost that sort of, forgot how much I loved to race. Sure, I was disappointed when the whole F1 thing, didn't end up happening and I went to Japan. But when I went to Japan and started racing and did the Super GT stuff, and they had full flat bottom and ground effects, so you could run like 300 kilometers.
No aero wash.
Like at Fuji, we're doing over 300 kilometers an hour in those things, nose to tail. Through sweep. It's crazy. And I found that love for racing again. And I remembered why I was doing it all. It wasn't sort of for the whole show of the
Almost
thing.
going back to karts. Racing like karts.
Yeah, exactly. And then when I came back here and I was smashing doors with the critters and I was tearing crap off the car, I was like, how good's this shit? Like, you can pass down the inside in the grass, and so I'm enjoying it so much more. And I think as much as everyone might think I'm an asshole, I think I'm a lot better person now because of experiencing all those sort of things than if I'd, ticked that box and done the whole F1 thing. I definitely wouldn't have probably been sitting here. So I think, look, I'm happy with it all. I think at the time, for sure, there's that element of disappointment, but yeah, I think there's other things in life that I probably would do differently, but no, I wouldn't change anything in my racing career. Even my time at HRT, I think I still, although we haven't had the results we wanted or, all that sort of stuff, there's things that you would sort of maybe decisions along the way you'd make that would be slightly different, but that whole process, I would do it again.
So, and the HR going on that, obviously, you're pretty loyal to them, sticking around.
9 years.
9 years. It's not a bad thing. So that'd be one of the longest ones, wouldn't it, Paul? That'd be,
Yeah, I think it is the longest. So in the one thing, because both Garth and Todd originally started at Toll and then moved across and whatever. So it's the longest stretch. So yeah, it's been amazing. Those guys sort of first of all brought me back to Supercars in 2005 to do that. Didn't really come off for the race because I was planning to race with those guys, but mucking around they ended up signing Todd. So then I went with you at SBR. But look, it's been. You lived part of the whole HRT thing. It's been incredibly frustrating at times because everyone has their idea of how you can change things to get a better result. But
and on paper it didn't look like that. On paper it looked like, oh yeah, this will be a good thing.
Yeah, because it
just
never
sparked, did it?
Yeah,
it never,
it's got a hot girl on Instagram.
Huh?
It's like seeing a hot girl on Instagram. On paper, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, but it's
it was a bit like that. Like it did. I mean, you had everything there.
Everything is still there.
I think that was a frustrating part because you could see everything that was there and the resources, and you think, well, why isn't it working? It was one of those things.
Probably the drivers, mate.
You couldn't.
There's 17 of us that have been.
I think the drivers carried it, mate. Don't worry.
I think one thing in that whole thing which doesn't get enough credit is the engine shop.
Yeah.
Because that thing is easily the best engine in pit lane. Its economy is bullshit. Drivability is sensational, and the performance, like it's.
Well, Erebus go right.
Oh, look at Erebus, yeah.
That's one thing I think that's kept our sort of nose above water for a long time. And Roger, who's just here up at Yatla, does a cracking job with that.
Yeah,
but,
he's smart, isn't he? So,
there's so many good guys there like Macca and Burnsy and Starry's been there for 28 years or something. There's so many blokes there that you build such good relationships with, and when we roll out at Newcastle, it's probably going to be a bit emotional.
It's a shame though. It's a shame when you look at that aspect of it. You got the engines are usually one of the hardest things to get right. They got that right, but if they could get the chassis working, would have been a massive difference.
See what happens in the next.
What about
phase.
the new one? What can you tell us about that? I know you've come out and made an announcement, but there's been things going backwards and forwards about it, saying, now they're going back to one car, or it's looking. So what is it? We're out with it all.
No,
what can you tell us?
Still 2 cars.
Yeah, still 2 cars. Yeah.
Out of Sydney straight away next year.
Yep.
Out of a facility at Eastern Creek, just out the back of pit lane, whilst the main one's being built.
Right, so it'll be based at
straight away.
Based at the track straight away.
Yeah. Yeah. Really? So based straight away at the track.
Where are they going to put it?
Just behind pit lane, there's that big shed.
Yeah, where the radicals and all that.
Yeah, so they're out, and they're going to go in there and use that as a temporary facility until the other one's done. So, like I said to the guys, we can't really call ourselves Team Sydney and run out of Melbourne or Gold Coast. We've got to straight away start there. So it's 2 cars, 2 888 cars.
So what will Webbs do with there? Is that still going to run, or they're still going to have got their factory, or everything gets shifted?
Yeah, so John's, I'm pretty sure, closing all of that stuff down. He's going to rent it out. I told him he should give Roger a call. He's got plenty of cash. But so that side of things, and I think he'll keep a small techno factory up here, or maybe try and keep part of that just to do his road car stuff. But everything racing goes straight to Sydney, and it's pretty much, it starts fresh, so there's not really going to be anything that hangs over from what his team is at the moment. No personnel or anything. It's all completely new, and a fresh start for those guys. They've had a rough couple of years with results, and prior to that, they had a lot of success with Shane and then with Will, and so they're really wanting to sort of get back and have a proper go at it.
Or Triple A stuff, or Triple A cars.
Yeah, so everything, and as it happens, and whatever. So it's pretty exciting for me. It's the last time we had the Triple A gear, we won the championship. So it'd be good to be in a position where we don't have to question the car and the machinery anymore, and it all relies on.
Well, you said yourself, Paul, he hasn't forgotten how to drive. You reckon it'd be a good chance next year?
No, I thought his stint at Bathurst at the end of the race was like. They had a problem with the car and he didn't lift.
Yeah.
He was prepared to win the trophy or not go home, He's still prepared to put his balls on the line and risk it all to win a race, and that's what you need. It was pretty good, I reckon.
Oh well, exciting times.
Yeah, I'm pumped, Mus. I was
second car. What's going to happen?
I don't know. We're it's all.
You're not going to know.
I think it's all happening now. So trying to get
definitely 2 cars.
Definitely 2.
Who do you want to see in it?
I don't know. There's a Ray. I think like I said to the guys, I think it'd be good.
They got a short list?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's.
What do you mean you think so? You're going down the drive there, mate. You mean you know, but you can't tell us.
Yeah, there's young guys. And I said to them, I'm comfortable in who I am as a person, and me moving to the whole Team Sydney sort of thing is to, it's not only to race, but once it's over, to have a part within the team moving forward. So I said a young guy would be great that, I'm more than happy to work with and tell all my secrets, or, and try and develop them, because it's only going to better me later on in life when I'm sort of in that position within the team, and really develop that sort of relationship and try and...
So take that thing you're doing with your karts and apply it to...
Yeah, and also trying to help the guys. It's not like to let them know it's not all about racing. Like 15% of what we do is on track, racing hard, getting results, but 85% of what we do is off track. This sort of stuff, being able to go into a room, talk to the CEO of Virgin, or be plonked anywhere and be able to communicate, but then not think you're better than the guy who's the gopher at the workshop at the Christmas party, and have a beer with him and his wife and talk about buying a trampoline for the kids for Christmas. So it's to be able to show the guys, and I've been really tried my whole career to be quite grounded. I grew up west of Sydney at Penrith, not from a privileged background or anything, and I don't think I'm better than anyone else. And I think a lot of guys in our position, or even sports people, get a crazy sense of their own self-importance when they get to a certain position, when their job's on TV and things like.
That Russell Ingall used to. No.
He was the worst for us.
I was the worst.
But I think it's important to be grounded and try and keep that with the young blokes. So.
I'm hearing. Oh, it's exciting. It should be good.
I'm pretty excited.
We've got to get on to Sandown though. So since you're here, you were racing in the damn thing. So because we haven't spoke about that yet, have we?
No.
You're
gone from having a short show to having a... Geez, there's some good stuff in there. We can't cut any of that out.
No, we won't cut any of it.
Apparently you don't edit at all. So.
We don't edit at all. No, it costs money to edit, so we don't edit. Sandown, you were down there.
Yeah.
It was a good race, actually. Wasn't bad.
But the co-drivers, when all the co-drivers started, that first 30 odd laps in the race was what we used to watch.
Yeah. It was pretty on, wasn't it?
It was on. I'm like, oh, this is racing again. No. Then it just got boring. So whatever those co-drivers were doing, whether they were on auditions or just whipping it or having a dip.
Because there's a few people who are out of position, like with Shane and
car.
So there's a few faster guys further back. So there was quite a bit of action with those guys coming through, which I think probably helped. But that battle with Craig and Jack was pretty cool, and Jack holding up, not holding up, but racing with those guys was good. It's great to see guys that don't just put the blinker on and let people pass.
No, it's good that co-drivers are having a bit of a crack too.
Yeah.
Not just being a bit captain cautious. Like there was a bit of average steering going on next on the co-drivers as well. There was a bit of fumbling going on, but generally it was actually. I thought it was really good.
I liked it.
Like especially when it comes up on main games. I'll tell you one thing that Sandown. There was a massive indicator at Sandown of the importance of having co-drivers that were fresh out of the game. And the two was Lowndes and Tander.
I think
massive advantage for Triple Eight. I mean, there's no doubt about it, and that's with no disrespect to the other co-drivers in the field, but the thing is, they're the two newest ones out of a full-time drive, and I reckon that really showed up in the endurance series in general, but definitely at Sandown Tander had to wheel the thing to the front.
I think there'll be definitely question marks over Prema now.
I think there's question marks over a lot.
So that has taken it to a new level, but
I think some of the young guys did a better job.
Well, the Super 2 guys, everyone that is a Super 2 front runner did a great job.
Absolutely.
They did a great job. Yep. So it shows the relevance of having experience in those cars and being in that thing. So if you're a team owner, you're looking for what you said, Russ, is someone who's fresh out of the main game or a young guy that's in Super 2.
I reckon there's a couple of regulars there that just do the enduros. A bit worried about getting a ride next year.
There'll be some guys there fall back out, or you've got to do what PD did, and just keep yourself sharp by doing Super 2.
Yeah. But Roland Roland
Which is
Dane
what
was
Jack
right
was
on
doing,
it about
wasn't he?
grabbing those two guys, straight out. Like, obviously Lowndes was a no-brainer because they put him in there because they had to. Because he still had to deal with them anyway, and they still had to pay him money, so they might as well stick him in the seat.
They're not co-drivers. They're two.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. And Garth was
all four of his
forced
drivers
out
were
at
in
the end of
last
the day.
year's shootout at Bathurst.
Yeah, exactly. So,
And
yeah,
Garth
they're on it.
is froths over Sandown and that whole.
Their cars were good there too.
And their cars were good. They set it up right, drove it right.
Like those guys that come from last, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And to be leading and then have that as
But
heartbreak.
they've always had dominant cars at Sandown, so their playbook, or they got.
Forget anything else. Massive advantage having those two in the cars over the rest of the field, no doubt about it, and it showed with the
What
results.
about how do you reckon Shane dealt with the failure, having the lead and?
Yeah, that's pretty.
I didn't know. I was too far back to see
Pretty,
any
it's pretty
action.
unusual though, isn't it? You don't see too many times that there's a fault with a Triple Eight car.
No, that's like, to me that's like, oh, he's going to win the race and he hasn't. And then after second at Bathurst, he'd be, what do you reckon's going through his mind?
He has a bit of that though, isn't it? It's like when he was with Webby, like that last pit stop. Starter motor goes.
Yeah,
he just has it where he's almost there and just it'd be a mechanical fault. That would just brain him. Have to spin with the head a bit, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I can tell you Shane would have dealt with it better than Garth. I think Garth would have been
that was the other thing too that I nearly choked on my dinner with. I was looking at somebody.
Is this
some interview
comment
that it was some comment you did in something saying you're pumping up Garth's tyres about there was a lot of misconceptions about myself and Garth in the same team, and he was one of the best teammates I've ever had. And
he was the best teammate I ever had.
A lot of respect for him. I almost choked. You two wanted to kill each other. So don't give me that crap.
Yeah, we did at times. When I ran into him a couple of times.
You reckon he was a flog? He was fucking hard work in the
That's heat of the
team.
moment stuff for us.
The accountant used to call him.
What?
Garth, the accountant, used to call him.
No, but he was disruptive amongst the team. He was a bloody prick of a teammate to have.
Yeah, like we were talking about political
internally,
animals. He was very political within the team. But,
of course he is, still is.
But I mean, like to bench with, I think he was, as when I came into SBR when we were together, I think a strong teammate is so important.
Pushes you.
Yeah.
And just like as much as we didn't get on, we would work. We knew the importance of working together to make for the greater good, and then would smash doors and tear the.
Because he's an annoying prick at times. So
very annoying. But he probably says that about me. But he wants to win as much as what I do, and he's willing to do whatever it is to get to that point. And if that means we have to be friends or work together, then he'll do it. And I think that's what I was sort of alluding to. With that.
So yeah.
You
recognise his ability, but that's about it.
We don't go around for drinks. I went to his house once in 9 years or whatever it was.
I don't reckon you have to.
Yeah, I've been to his house once.
Yeah.
He invited me around for takeaway. Yeah.
I went to Ross's house the other day. He cooked me a barbecue.
I've never been.
You have, so. You liar.
I saw your sister-in-law in...
He just follows you around with a broom and a mop plate, cleaning up everywhere you go.
Yeah, he does too.
What's that?
Fair.
At your house.
What's that?
He just follow you around
As
with
the drink comes up, it's like...
You came around my house once.
I just put it beside it just to annoy
And
him.
he's come around in a... What's that? What's that boat you got? That little...
The ski boat?
Yeah, the ski boat. No, the little thing. The little thing that's got the bloody big engine on the back.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not Scarab. What do they call it? Those little...
Haynes Hunter.
Haynes Hunter thing or something. Anyway, he's walked through my house and there's just all oil footprints going through the house. And I'm freaking out because he's in the boat and the power steering's leaking or the steering box is leaking in his boat and it's leaked all over his boots and he's just walked through my house and I'm going nuts. Oh, yeah, g'day, mate. That freaked me out. Anyway.
Italian marble.
Anyway, Anyway, let's get back on track here. Sandown. Anything else?
The weather didn't play as much of a part.
No, it didn't, did it?
Sort of went away in the end, didn't it?
Yeah, because he usually spices it up a bit, doesn't it? He sort of got a bit
It did on
money there for a
Saturday,
while.
but
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, Sunday was a bit, but overall as an event was who you thought was going to be quick. One thing that I meant to bring up as well, I was saying that the Holden guys and especially Triple Eight in particular were playing the game knowing they weren't going to win the championship when the Mustang come out. They're playing the game for the Enduros. Look at the performance pickup. all the Holden
this
teams.
is big.
Conspiracy.
This is big.
Oh, so I said to him
You
the
said
last-
Roland was quiet.
Yeah, well, that's when you know he's up to something. That's when you know he's up to something. So I reckon I played the game with the whole parody thing.
I don't
right
think so, mate. Not.
Well, hang on, they were going pretty good.
Yeah,
So
that
you
works.
reckon they
anyway
knew they were
track.
going to start the year crap?
Well, I think after the first 2 rounds they did. I think
But
once
you
they-
never
I
got
think
to see-
when that Mustang rolled out the door, you got to say, "Phew, this is going to be hard work." So
You never
might,
got
might
to
as
see
well
Scott
play.
full potential, did you? He put it on pole, then they got the penalty for the pit stop, and
Playing the long game, though, dude. If you can't win,
Yeah, but
win
they
the
didn't
war.
win Bathurst in the
Huh?
end, did
Yeah.
they?
No, the
I mean,
close.
by Bathurst.
Very close.
yeah, they've been trying, mate.
Very edit. Very,
Just winding everyone up. He did a
very
great
close
job.
though. I mean, they were there. Oh, they were there the whole time. So at the end of the day, I don't know. I just threw it out there that I reckon.
Okay.
I reckon they played a pretty good game with the whole parity thing, knowing that they're not going to win the championship. That was pretty evident after probably the second
I think
round.
good on Supercars for having a crack at changing it, not just saying, "Oh, that's what it is."
Did they go too far though? You
Oh, the
drive.
racing-
You drive one. Do
I'd
you
say
reckon?
the racing's closer now than what it's
You
been.
reckon they got it right between the two?
I don't think it's right still. I think that the strengths and weaknesses are probably in different areas, but let's hope with all the technology they got now with all the CFD stuff and whatever for next year that it's
You reckon the
bang on.
Mustang's still a little bit better? Well, you can
think-
tell you follow them. You can see where they're good and not.
I think in your, like in the high speed stuff and change of direction, it's so planted.
Is it?
Yeah. But I think they've done a great job with ours, with changing. I think the biggest change was probably Pukekohe when we did the gurney.
Yep.
That settled the rear quite a bit, and that sort of probably caught us out a bit at Pukekohe in that the balance shift was greater than what we thought.
Yep.
But yeah, there's
Too much aero now though.
on the cars.
Coming from someone that's ran both,
I think it's in
you've
the-
run aero cars and you've run these things, you've run previous generation supercars, so if there isn't a better guy to ask about it,
I think it's in the annoying part where there's not enough of it, or what we do to generate downforce is too much affected by the car in front. So if it was more of a flat bottom sort of setup, then you could still run the downforce and run close. So
Yeah.
you either do it that way, like we did in Super GT in Japan,
Yeah.
or not have it. Because when it's in between, you're not one or the other.
yeah. So either give it more so it sticks and you can actually
Yeah,
stick
or
behind
that's
the
not
eye, or
reliant-
Generate it from underneath.
generate
Yeah.
it from underneath, a different way
Rather
to
than,
generate that.
and it
Yeah,
not be
okay.
affected from the car.
Or the easiest way is just to take it all off. So,
It's probably cheaper.
and it's probably the way that when you came into it, probably used to be.
Yeah, if you're going 3 or 4 seconds a lap slower and having a good race, you're not going to
Yeah.
be stressed, are you?
Yeah, who
And
cares?
Yeah.
One thing that did come out, a DSO and part of the stewards came out and apologised for something.
Bad, eh?
Yeah, bad eye.
I thought-
Jesus.
I think he had to.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, but that's got to be a first. I mean,
Well,
seriously.
I've never seen it. Normally, they
never.
go through the rule book,
Yep.
and other people that have been in that position that have made bad calls
Yep.
would find a way to justify why they were right.
It's good though.
It shows he's got integrity and cares about the sport and his job
Yeah.
more than his own, what do you call that?
Self-worth or,
Yeah,
or
what-
ego. Ego.
Ego or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
No, I reckon it's bloody good on him
Oh,
for doing
But
that.
then he didn't
It was
punish the guy that actually was at fault.
No,
He
no.
said, "I'll put my hand up
Yeah.
and I made the wrong call," but then didn't punish the guy that actually caused the accident.
Yeah, that's true.
he was already out anyway, wasn't he?
Yeah, but still,
Yeah,
you
he was
get
gone. Yeah.
yeah, he's out.
So
But
he's out, but
I must admit though, he needed, like I said, needed to apologise. Pretty average call.
But
Should
in
have
all
hung
honesty,
around.
I think he's done a good job.
Oh,
I've
absolutely.
butted
Yeah.
heads with him
Yeah.
quite a bit over the last couple of
as long as
rounds.
he's
yeah.
consistent.
Yeah, but
We understand
he was a
racing.
hard-ass racer as well, so you can sort of talk to him. But I think probably one good thing about this, what happened,
Yeah.
is that I think he relied too much. He wasn't using the technology that's available. I think he, like with that
Just
call,
one angle. Yeah.
he just saw it and went bang, as
Yeah.
opposed to then waiting a little bit and
Yeah.
looking at, because we've got all that Hawkeye and all that
Yeah,
sort
yeah,
of stuff
yeah.
that they're sprucing on about, that they
Yeah.
paid all this money for, but clearly he didn't use it, because otherwise he wouldn't have come up with that decision.
Yeah.
So I think he might now hold back on some of the decisions and probably
Review him a bit.
review it a
Okay.
bit more. So, but I think he's doing a great job. I
Winkup's
think
come out pretty
everyone's
quick
going to make mistakes.
since he's been on the commit. He seems very opinionated, Jamie Winkup, since he's got on the commission now. He's coming out making lots of statements.
Well, good.
And using the word "we" a lot too. We. So he's got straight into the the motive, we as a organisation, but saying that penalties, in race penalties after the Craig Baird era, he encourages that. That should be during the race. I'm not on his boat there at all. I think it depends. If it's absolutely clear cut, I've got no dramas with. But if it's not, look at it afterwards, because that was clearly pull the trigger too hard on that penalty that we've just been talking about. But as far as that, make sure you're right. Don't go doing it in the race, because you can't take it back.
But like that, he could have still done it in the race, but if he reviewed it more,
himself,
gave himself more time rather than trying
to work it out.
But even after that, he still could have done it. I mean, he still could have added a tyre penalty, all right. And
but yeah, I'm with you. I think it's
the stakes are too high to go for look. Let's take
but he's taken off his driver and team hat and put on the fan hat and gone. We need a decision when the race is finished. We don't want to have a result of the race 3 weeks later.
Yeah, but
that's what he's saying.
But the fan doesn't also want to see the wrong decision as well.
No.
The fans will go off more if their driver that could have won it got done.
Look, Beardo can get it right if he uses the tools available to him in the race.
Yeah.
I'm sure he can.
I'm all for in-race penalties. Yeah, when they're done the right way and
I'm all for no penalties, mate. I reckon they should just get rid of the whole lot and let the drivers sort it out. What do you reckon would happen if they had turned up and there was no DSO and we just went racing?
I don't know. It'd be good racing, I reckon. There'd be some action for the first couple. Like when we first started and we were into each other and...
It was just sort of tit for tat, wasn't it?
Yeah. You sort of knew you didn't muck around with you.
But you're not going to end up with 20 cars on fire in the fence, eh?
What goes around comes around. But then you get team owners whinging, you're going to tear up equipment and all the rest of it. If you can't afford to replace a couple of panels, piss off out the sport.
I reckon.
People have to remember we're a show.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're an entertainment business, and when we're not entertaining, we're not providing our fan base and the people who buy the products that sponsor our cars.
Yeah.
When we're not entertaining them, then that's when we're in trouble. And I think we've got to find a good balance when we're very entertaining to them.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
And keep them interested, because the moment they switch off, our whole thing's dead. So,
to me, it'd be so easy just to go, well, if the two guys that had the incident haven't got a problem with it, we don't either.
Yep. All right. On that note, let's take a quick break, because our short episode's turned into a bloody marathon again. We're going to get Brodie Kostecki and Will Brown on next. So take a break, go get another beer, and we'll see you back in a minute.
I need a six-pack.
Welcome back to Enforcer and the Dude. We've done a driver change here, and a big thanks to James Courtney for coming on as well. But James had to head off to, obviously, to Newcastle. So we've got our rookies here. Will Brown, Brodie Kostecki, and welcome, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
You sure you want to do this?
Obviously.
You sure you want to do this? Actually, you two jumped at it, which is great. No, it's good. Well, we're very selective who we have on here, especially our drivers. And James was the first main game driver we've had on. We've had team owners and managers, obviously, but we thought we're going to spread the love to the rookies to motor racing. Give you a bit of love.
Yeah, beautiful.
Nice. How you doing? All right.
Good. Back from tail and bend and into it.
TCR champion. Well done.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Cheers.
Fistful of dollars.
Yeah, yep. That was good. Didn't spend it all Sunday night. 100?
100k?
Yeah, 100k.
Awesome. Fair bit.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
We're talking about the Super 2 stuff. These guys are onto it straight away. First year TCR, and they're donating money, and that's to spend. Now, is that spend? That's it.
That's cash.
That's
Yeah,
your
that's cash.
Straight
That's
in.
just, yeah.
So you can put it towards your motor racing career in general.
Yeah, that's right. So,
Or your bar tab?
bit of everything.
Where's
Spend it
the
on.
party, mate?
Pardon?
Where's the party?
Yeah, I know. Have to throw in the off season.
That's pretty good, though. I mean, it's pretty good that they've just given it to you as an incentive, and it's not necessarily just to spend it with TCR.
I think it's great because TCR is probably a bit of a feeder category for young guys, and if a young guy wins it next year, he can, like say Aaron Cameron, he can spend it to, if he wants to do Super 2, Super 3, all of that. So there's plenty of things that you can spend it on, so it's perfect.
Yeah. Now, tell me about the TCR, because I've been doing a bit of it myself, so I know a bit about it. But from your side of things, you obviously got a path you want to go. You've been lucky enough to be involved in the Endurance Series with Erebus, but we always say you got to keep race fit. You got to keep race fit. So where do you go to keep race fit? TCR was a pretty good choice. In my book.
S5000 to he'll race anything, mate.
Yeah, anything I can jump in on race XLs, you know, we have a great time.
Oh, you did the Honda XL, did you?
Honda, so I'll race anything. But TCR was great because, you know, at the start of the year it popped up pretty quickly. You know, there was a few people talking about it and we were sort of thinking, is this going to kick off and is it going to happen? And got a call from Barry Morecambe from HMO and it all kicked off and I was in a car, but, you know, you signed up with... I hadn't watched much of it overseas. You didn't know if the Honda was a good car, if we were going to run it and all that. So to jump in and win the inaugural one was pretty cool, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And Brodie, let's get on to you because you're a bit of an unknown around these parts, but you've been doing a hell of a lot of racing.
Yeah,
especially in the States as well.
Yeah, actually, I went over to the States in late 2011 and actually lived over there for 4 years, Russ. So yeah, did a lot of racing over there, and you know they race every week. You know, sometimes twice a week. So
what were you racing over there?
I started off. I raced USAC midget, so it was the Ford Focus series, which is like pretty much a crate engine speed car. So started on pavement there, and also ran dirt as well, and won the American title for that, and won the most amount of USAC races in 1 year as well. So actually.
Pretty big thing.
That's a big series, isn't it?
So I think Tony Stewart and JJ Alley were tied for the most wins at 27 and I got them at 28, so I was pretty happy about that. And then moved on to NASCAR late models and earned my stripes there and plenty of donuts on the doors there. So
so where does that Paul, where does that start off with in the NASCAR? Because we've got Super 3, Super 2.
Yeah, you're late,
so
late
where does that
models,
equate?
It's probably 3-4 steps down from Cup.
Yep.
So you're going to go late models, then you're going to go trucks, Xfinity series, then all the way. Yeah.
So the main game, as we call it.
Yeah.
Here. So you've done it, and that's the thing about it, and that's what probably annoys me a little bit about you were saying about the social media, about these sort of guys and not getting it out there, and through the association, we don't know any of this stuff.
No, you should.
You should.
Supercars don't do a really good job of showing the depth and the talent that's in that series. So.
Yeah. And that's major, that stuff too. It's not clubby racing.
No.
Like dudes are out to kill you. Like it's serious stuff.
Yeah, I definitely you know, I've had plenty of experiences over there, and I think I learnt a lot today. You know, looking back on how to race people, and it's just a whole different mindset over there. People live.
There's no DSO over there.
There's no DSO there, and I'm pretty sure the fans are the DSO. So you know, they start throwing beer and all sorts of stuff when they want to see something happen. So. Been in plenty of fights over there and all sorts of crazy stuff. Had my fuel tank drilled before a race, and it's just it's just mental. It's just mental. So it's a whole different mindset.
What, on purpose?
Yeah. So we
that's pretty serious.
That's cool. Yeah, we had a small outfit, and it was just you know, my family and I moved over, so we ran our own car over there as well. And me and my dad at the time pretty much just ran it ourselves, and we won a lot of races. And being, you know, Australians coming into, you know, a different country and racing over there was kind of seen as, you know, a bit like, what are you doing here? You sort of don't belong here. So we had it pretty rough for a while, and but I still pressed on, and you know, when someone swung, I would dodge back and swing back. So yeah, it was good.
Which is why you didn't mind giving it back to Cam Waters.
No, man, I got no problem with that whatsoever.
Funny you should say that. Funny you should say that in my little archive here. So we'll go to our little screen. It's low tech here, boys, but it does the drama. So we'll go back to the actual what you're referring to. So this was at a Sandown, so everyone knows. So here we go. So this is your pass.
No,
this is Jake.
Oh, sorry, this is Jake.
This is Jake.
Jake is in the car.
Yeah.
But it's the Delgin car stuff off the back of the corner.
I mean, that was pretty clear cut. What's your view on that, dude?
Huh?
That was your
Jake
view?
had got it done, and Crusoe's driven back into him. Found the fence.
Because he's actually got out on the dirt.
He's got a good run on him now.
It's actually quite a good move. Right, he's in there, he's there.
And as you can see, he hasn't unwound the steering wheel. He's still got lock left down.
No,
so.
not at all. All right, so this was after that, this was Waters getting interviewed.
Jake's obviously got a bit of a run on Cruz. Crusoe's left him room and just hip and shouldered him off and then left him no room to come back on the track. So it's bloody stupid, you know. You got these wildcats coming in and they're racing, they're obviously fast, but they're just dumb. So taking us out of the race, we had a fast car, we're just trying to be in there at the end and just wiped out by stupidity. Thanks for your honesty, Stupid.
You know, the great thing about
He
that.
has had a rough shot with people running into him, but
Yeah, like
a bit of friendly
I know,
fire.
but you know, at the end of the day, they say about a wild card and all the rest of it, but to me, that was Caruso's fault. It
was.
had nothing to do
Well,
with.
there's two things you got to think if you're Caruso. You're like, and they're just saying we're just trying to cruise around and be at the end of the race. If you look in your mirror and there's a car catching you
Yeah,
by 3 or 4 tenths a lap, and you know there's a rookie in it,
yeah,
you handle the situation.
exactly.
You don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to get hit. So
yeah.
that's for me. And you know,
He was out in the crap anyway. He's gassed it up. The thing's actually stepped out. You saw where Caruso stepped out, and that's why the front's hit, because he's actually stepped out of the thing. So it's no fault. Don't go in there giving you a blast like.
yeah, but then it carried on. They obviously started blocking
Yeah,
in
well,
mid-race.
that's what happened.
You know,
So
There's two things about that. Is you know, there's obviously, for one, Caruso never left the track, so no one got ran off.
Yeah.
And how many times did Tickford cars break steering arms?
it's a good point.
So,
Yeah, exactly right.
Like
and that's what happened. It was the steering arm that bent that sent him into the wall.
and they
So-
said it. You know, they were complaining after the race, just having a sulk, saying that it got broken at the apex. But obviously, you can see there that it's broken when he's.
It's broken when it was already passed. He hit the back rear quarter.
Yeah, exactly right. So and then that carried on into the race, which is why we'll see up here what happened next and getting blocked.
So they were blocking you.
all sorts of stupid stuff. So and obviously we work on our own cars, so I'm not going to go destroy someone else's car, and also they have crew that work on their car too. I'm not going to go put them into work that that their driver's going to cause as well. So I'd rather just go sort it out myself.
Well, this was sorting out. It's quite good. So they're laps down, aren't they?
Yeah. So.
Yep. So he's just propping you up.
No, look at that. I know what you would have done, Russ.
Birdman. That's a bit. Oh, look, mate. I thought it was absolutely. I would have done exactly the same. Actually, I wouldn't have. I would have ran into it. I would put it in the fence because, unfortunately, I didn't have as much sympathy to equipment that you have. I would have stuck the prick in the fence easy. But I couldn't agree more. But I reckon it's great because this is what we need, and this is why you two are here on this show. Number one, because you're bloody good drivers. You go hard. You've done stuff which no one knows about, which they're about to during this interview. And the third is you've got personality.
Yeah, I think that's a big important part about it. Is everyone's become so commercialised, and the teams are so commercialised. People don't want to watch that. They want to, see what people's personalities are. And everyone has a different personality. Will's got a different one to mine. So, and, we work pretty hard on our equipment and all that sort of stuff. So, and I was, Jake did a fantastic job getting the car up into the fourth place. And
he was fine.
And I'm not going to go wreck my equipment and ruin the chances of the team getting a good result. I'd rather just go bang heads afterwards.
Yeah. And what about you, Will? You've had some pretty amazing opportunities, especially on the Europa side of things. How hard is it and this is a question for both of you guys, it's actually different because you've just said you're in your own equipment. What is it like when you're in someone else's, right? You're trying to prove yourself, but you realise if you throw the thing into the wall, the roadshow could be over too. How hard is it to manage that?
Yeah, it's a hard one coming in as a young guy, and this is probably why they get a lot of the ex-drivers back, because they are solid. They don't make many mistakes. Us coming in, we sort of got to showcase ourselves while making no mistakes and do a good job. So last year, definitely, made a mistake at Gold Coast and little things like that. But you're out there, you've got to race, and you've got to do the best job you can. And in the co-drivers, it's great to be in Super 2 where we're in the car a lot and we're feeling good. So I think you do take a punt on a young guy. I made a few mistakes last year, but I feel like this year, came on and we've got good pace and we're racing in Super 2. So hopefully more teams look at giving, the young guys in Super 2 a shot because, it's hard to move forward and hard to get a drive these days. Yeah,
and I thought someone like, and I mentioned it on the show a couple of shows ago, someone like Zane Goddard, who at that stage was second in the championship, didn't even get a steer. Yep. I thought that was a travesty.
But then also,
someone like that.
The thing for Zane is he going to get a co-drive next year? He's done a very good job. He probably won't get a co-drive next year.
Because unless you do it, you can't get it.
Well, that's right. But you've also got people stepping back, like probably Tim Slade, all of those sorts of guys that are going to take those co-drives away from young guys who then don't get a crack. And the problem is that parents, you can't get the sponsorship in Super 2. parents can't just keep, like Zane and all that, can't keep funding it for years to come. So where do you go? What's going to happen to all the young guys?
Yeah, it's a good point, isn't it? It's a problem, and I applaud this money thing for Super 2, but there also be something there. If you're first, second, or third in the championship, you're guaranteed a co-drive in endurance races. Up to the leading. If you're first, second, or third in the Super 2. I don't know, work it out, but some incentive to actually get them. Because unless you get the laps, dude,
Yeah, but if the system's right, that'll happen.
But the system's not right. Never has been.
Hopefully next year they build up Super 2 again, and like the social media, all of that, they don't need someone there to do it. Give all the drivers the login and we'll make it a bit of fun. We'll do the social media, we'll do a bit of loose stuff on there, do that sort of stuff. It'll build it up, get the fans engaged. But Super 2 used to be something that if you showcased yourself, did a good job that year, you'd move up. Like you're against Paul Dumbrell, Cam Waters, all those guys that move up. Now it's like, what do we do next year? We're really circulating around, getting laps to try and wait for a main series, like for a seat to come available. It's one of those things that costs so much money. Do you keep on going with that side of things? So hopefully they can build Super 2 up to be something again that it's got 20 cars on the grid, make it really good again.
Yeah. What about for you? Which way are you going? Because I know Will, you'll try and do TCR if you can't get a main game. Yeah, what's your plans?
Yeah, my aspirations have always been, when I come back from the States was, to make it to the main game. But as like Will said, the series has lost a lot of credibility. Now it's just a graveyard for the other teams to dump all their old crap into. So there has to be some sort of incentive for teams to pick Super 2 drivers for it to, gain that credibility back again.
What about
I think
extra test day or
I don't know, maybe ban ex drivers or something. I don't know. Like at the end of the day, the people that watch the sport and the youth that they're trying to bring into the to watch the sport, I think they need to follow young people as well, and there isn't that many young guys out there. So, and I think that sort of needs to be changed or be helped in some sort of way. And I think there's probably a couple of times we've got on the podium or won a race and you get out of the car, there's no people around, there's no media, there's no tech inspectors. I could just go grab a spanner and just make a fast tech. It's just like. Yeah. It's a bit poor at the moment, so but it is a good series and it just needs help.
Yeah, it's a tough one because the media is so important. I mean, and like we prove it. We've proven it this year with the show. For instance, that you make it grassroots. You give the people, explain it right, give the people what they want, and it's actually not that hard. You don't have to be too Hollywood.
No.
You don't have to be, and people don't want that, and we've proven it. You don't have to be Hollywood, but it's the same with you guys. They've got it's just as important outside the car, but no one's giving you any guidance.
Yeah, and I think the Porsche model is such a great thing to look at on how they bring people in, is because there's so many things to fight for. So if that's Super 2 at the moment, I think what they're doing next year with the with putting up the money and all that stuff into a top drive, I think that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah. But outside the car, it needs a lot more work.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, even things like this, I mean, it's not hard. I mean, I've never seen you guys interviewed. Not interviewed, but who you are. I know what you've done and like on the day, but I don't know what you've done. All these people will be watching this program going, oh, geez, I didn't know that about Will. I didn't know that about Brodie.
They could, I reckon they could involve Super 2 guys a lot with main series. That year at Newcastle, they got me to do co-tire on the ground. Got heaps out of it. A lot of people noticed, who I am and that sort of stuff. Build some Super 2 guys into the main series, do a bit more around them. Maybe like with Thomas Randall, they did, the life of, inside Supercars or whatever with him. Do that with a few more young guys in Super 2, because really that's where you're coming from. And one thing that I've looked at is, for me, I never used to watch Formula 1 much, but since Leclerc got in there, Verstappen, all that, the young guys, it's made it a lot more interesting. It's really interesting to watch now, and you go, oh, look at that. Like,
because you relate to them.
Yeah, you relate to them, but also they make it exciting. They're young, they're hungry, they'll do not silly things, but they'll have a big crack, and it's interesting. But it is. I watch F1 now, and I really like it. So there's not many young guys coming through, and I guess that's because of the commercial side of things. James Courtney, to get sponsorship for him is a lot easier to get sponsorship for a Will Brown or Brodie Kostecki. But you need your year to get in there, prove yourself, get some backing behind you, and then go from there. But I reckon they need the young guys coming in and spicing it up and having a big crack, really.
But that's the reason they get the money. It's because everyone knows who James Courtney is.
That's right. You take.
But unless they give you some airtime, they're not going to know who you are.
Look at Lee Holdsworth. They did a switch because, like Lee, he jumped across into the Bottle-O car. But for Lee,
no one would know, mate.
Yeah, but you can get they can get a bit of sponsorship for him, a young guy coming in and that sort of stuff. So I think that if we could get in there for a year, create some excitement, we're get in front of the camera a bit, you can get sponsorship for us, but it's hard making that jump to get in there, and that's what probably the Super 2 thing will help, the 400 grand, but only one guy's going to win that next year, and there's a lot of guys who
There's still a lot
are
in the skip
potential.
in. Yeah.
Jeez, can you imagine if you were sponsored by Bottle O?
You got a bit of a reputation, mate. He doesn't mind a drink, I will, but at the right times.
Yeah.
You know.
Just will.
So,
But that's like the personality's gone.
Yeah.
Do you find that young
Yeah, I was
guys
just
get in
about to
there
say,
and then
yeah.
just they get more and more vanilla and vanilla and vanilla to the...
yeah.
Like Chaz has gone vanilla.
Yeah.
I mean,
We held out a lot of potential for him, didn't we, initially, in the young...
Yeah.
When he first came into it and thought he was going to have a half a swing, and he was great.
Yeah.
And now he's just gone so corporate, and it's
I'm
noticeable.
sort of like, I don't know why it has become like that. Like, you look at Supercross riders, all the other sports and that, they have such a good time. Like, you look at their social
MotoGP,
media,
Yeah.
all of that, it's a bit looser, they have a great time. Their social media is massive compared to ours of Supercross guys and all that, but I think it's because ours has become a lot more vanilla, and if you put something up that's a little bit loose, you get criticised for it, and you can't do that sort of stuff. So you sort of, as a young guy trying to get a drive, you can't, not saying we always do something loose or that sort of stuff, but you can't put anything up because you got to think, is this right and that. But Supercross, all that sort of stuff, it's massive for sponsors and everything, and they do some fun stuff, and it needs to get back like that and a bit more fun, I think.
Is it corporate driven, dude, do you think? Do you reckon the people that are putting in the money are getting a bit, maybe a bit scared or a bit cautious about anyone that is loose? Because we're living in a over-regulated world now. Are they just a bit nervous about it?
Oh, I think everyone's nervous about it. It's just what you're told, but it's probably because you've worked so hard to get there, and then you get there and you think, right, I'm here, I've caught the wave, I'm still paddling to stay in the wave. I just better not do anything that makes me fall off the back of the wave. I think it's what Will's saying.
Sports has to be isolated, I think, from the corporate, being the corporate watchdog, and towing the line. I think with sports, because sport is about passion. Sport is about passion and entertainment. And that means the players have to be entertaining.
Yeah, there's a difference between being loose and having fun, though. That you can still have fun.
Yeah,
you can still have fun in there, which and put all that stuff like up. But a few people are still steering away from that. But I think that just needs to bring back in the fun, the looseness. It's not really. But it's just bring back the fun in the sport.
Nothing wrong with being loose,
What's the most exciting you think you see on a daily basis on Instagram from a driver?
Oh, maybe had a good weekend, car felt all right, that sort of stuff.
What about on the stories though?
Yeah, well, not really.
Because all I see is lycra to the coffee shop.
Yeah.
It's like a cappuccino or a latte. It's just,
but it's just the way it's gotten,
Just got my new Beats headphones. Those are great, or whatever.
I think that's why you need to bring the young guys in, because they're willing to have a go and have fun, and that's what we want to do. And there's no point racing if you're not having fun.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very true, isn't it? So how are you going to approach it? So you're sitting here now. So how are you going to approach it? So you're trying to plan out the next 3 to 5.
Yeah, I'm just trying to focus on getting something organised for next year, which is getting pretty close to done. So I'm pretty excited about that. Not full time, but it's just hard. Like I want to be myself, and I think the people that watch want me to be myself as well. And I think that's how you build your your fan base when you first start. Is people enjoy your personality and stuff like that. So I want to make sure that I stay Brodie. So.
And you work on your own cars as well?
Yeah,
so
I do,
mechanically you're very savvy?
Yeah, like my whole family, we're fully involved with our race team at the moment, so otherwise all this wouldn't happen. So there's 3 of us racing, so we need to make sure that it's all the cost is brought down, so a lot of effort goes in ourselves.
That's where someone like Erebus, Paul, should just sign these guys up, be on it. That's it.
They take a...
Because they're one of the few that actually take a punt, aren't they?
Yeah, well, Barry's pretty good, and Betty's been good at bringing young people on,
Because all the other, and we'll roll up and they'll just grab some of this regular old drivers when it comes to the endurance races next year, or even for the full times, and that'll be it. But they won't look beyond that.
No,
there's not many teams that won't.
I think you have to now. I think you've got to get your guys from Super 2 and guys that have got miles in those cars, and the day the old guy coming off the bench is gone.
Yeah. And what about you, Will? What's your plan?
Yeah,
what's the 3 to 5?
What do you got? S5000, TCR, Toyota 86, Hyundai XLs. You got
done a fair bit of stuff, but
How many cars did you race this year?
I don't know, probably Probably about
His
6 or
categories.
7.
Memory's a bit short
6 or
these
7
days.
different categories. Yeah, but no, it's for me next year. I can do a wide array of stuff. You know, I want to get into the supercars as soon as possible. It's the be all end all for me, and you know, it's been amazing. But if I don't get in next year, I'll be, you know, I've got plenty of things I can do. Probably Super 2, TCR, S5000. Hopefully jump over for some World TCR rounds, co-drive, and then if we can try and jump up for some wild cards, that'd be awesome. So got a lot of things I can do next year, and I can race, which is fantastic. But you know, we still want to, at some stage, you want to make that jump to supercars, and that's what we've been pushing forward. But like we say, it's a bit hard. So I'll race as many things as I can get into next year, and anyone who gives me a drive, I'll be keen to do something.
But that's, I mean, if there's any sort of advice, you two are going actually pretty good, hence why you're sitting here. You're going pretty good on your own, but if there's any sort of advice, it's what you're doing is absolutely correct, and what you've already done, and meaning driving everything. I reckon that's such a key, and indeed, like, you know, at the end of the day, I regard you as one of the best steerers out there, because you've jumped from everything from a super stadium super truck to a supercar to everything in between. And I reckon no matter what, sprint cars, no matter what, you pick up something in all of that. Yep. Whether it be racecraft or whether it be mechanical thing or whatever, you always pick up a little something, which I reckon hones your craft, gives your craft a bigger spectrum.
Gives you a big bank of knowledge.
Yeah, I find it pretty funny when people say to me, "Oh, no, I'm just running Super 2 or you know, supercars. That's what I got to do. I got to stick to one thing and learn that." Like, yeah,
no way.
You got to race everything. You learn something. Come down here with Paul in an XL around Norwell or an 86, and you learn something. Like the day you stop learning is the day you're going to start going backwards. Because I think no matter what you jump in, you learn something every time.
You got to do
no matter
that.
how slow or fast it is. You know, XLs, you learn something there. You know, there's so many things you can do.
Yeah, because all you have to do, I mean, you know, yourself, Brady, from the racing that you've had in America, you've learnt racecraft. You've probably got 10 years of racecraft up your sleeve compared to a lot of other people in the main game. All you have to do is learn how to go fast in a supercar.
Yeah, I think that's. You know? I learnt racecraft over there. It was just the be all end all. Like, you can be leading a race, and on a restart you could be 10th. So you know, you have to understand. You know, there's obviously 2 corners on an oval, but it's way more complicated than that, and you got to understand how to, you know, make the guy behind you not wreck you pretty much. So I learned a lot over there, and racing 50, 60 times a year, it's just like racing 10 years over here. So cool. I learned a lot over there.
Yeah. Well done, guys. Thanks for coming on, number one, but number 2, good luck for your future as well.
Thank you very much.
At least hopefully this will help a little bit along the way. And this is Paul's idea, because, you know, Paul, you've been.
Paul. Thanks for having us.
Well, no, I mean, you push the whole school thing here for juniors through the school.
I think it's important, mate, because like if you take CAMS, for example, they have no junior development program that actually helps anyone do anything, and they're meant to be the representative of the sport, and they just have nothing. So I just said we've got to start doing our own thing.
It's a pretty good thing, because I remember when I was racing go-karts, you wouldn't even go up and talk to a supercar driver because you're worried about, you know, are they going to say hello? But you didn't know how to get in, you didn't know anything. Like, you just had to sort of look about it yourself. So it's good to have someone like Paul that does it, because that most go-karters, and hopefully all go-karters that watch us and that, can come along and ask you and have a go here and get into it that way. Because like I say, we knew nothing, we didn't know what path to go. We've worked it out, obviously, but it'd be great when I was there to have someone like Paul that, you know, you sort of could get a bit of a pathway, because you just don't know what you're doing.
It's kind of like a little boys club, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just trying to get into a little boys club.
Massive. So. And it used to be a lot worse than it is now.
Yeah.
When it was owner drivers.
Drivers. But even like, we went and raced the XL in South Australia on the weekend, and drove over. Actually, Brodie come with us. We had a good time, but to go through that system of entering the race, turning up, getting your tickets, dealing with the scrutineers who interpret things different from. I reckon I've been around the sport for a long time, but mate, there was 3 or 4 times there where I was ready to put the car in the trailer and go home. Because the camp system is just has no customer service at that level.
And that's at your grassroots level.
The
one where they should be injecting everything.
It just fails every time, and you just think, why am I doing this? I'll go and buy a boat. You know what I mean? So I don't know how many people.
So where's the incentive? Where's the incentive? So that's the thing.
Well, I don't think that's cutting it in this day and age. You know, there's other things people can go and do. So, you know, it'd be very interesting to just get the management, CEO, or someone
Yeah,
high level in cams, and go through that process of trying to get a license, get to the track, and go through what the competitors got to go through. They wouldn't last 2 minutes, mate.
Yeah,
They'd be
absolutely.
lost.
Well, maybe that's what they should be doing.
They'd be
Do
lost.
it themselves and find out what
Mate, they need a
the
secret
flaws in the
shopper.
system. So yeah,
Secret shopper.
yeah. All right. Well, good luck, guys. I have a feeling somehow that I reckon you two will be picked up down the road. So don't worry about it. That's my prediction. I reckon they'll do all right.
Reckon they'll be right?
tonight,
I
Will?
reckon they'll be all right. That's my little crystal ball, I reckon. It's been pretty good so far this year.
Okay.
Hey, we're not going to let you off though. So we haven't done any track work for a while, dude.
Yep.
So sitting here thinking about it, what say we do old school versus new school?
Oh,
Put a
yeah.
challenge out on track.
Okay.
What do you reckon?
Me and you versus the boys.
Yeah,
You
we'll
got
see how
roll
good they
cages in
actually
them or
are.
not? No, I'm joking.
Yeah. We got everything around here. Old school versus new school. Just check out how good these
Okay.
new guns
Who's
are.
driving first? Just to make sure I get a go, Will. If you
Yeah, good point. I'll go second.
Right,
We on?
two.
Yep.
Yeah, let's
Challenge
be on. Let's
accepted.
do it.
Let's
Challenge
go.
accepted.
Let's get out on the track. Okay, guys, this is it. This is the Norwell Motorplex. Young Guns versus Old Flogs. All right. All right, the grudge match. So this is it. Now, driver's briefing. Right. We're going to make this really short. It's got to be entertaining, and there's no rules. That's it.
It's a good rule.
Good rules. Good rule. This ain't Supercars, mate. She's on free for all. So that's it. Put your best foot forward. All right. Because if we whip you two, you are going to look like flogs.
Okay.
All right.
We are, or I think we already are.
Yeah, you definitely will be if we beat you. So game on. All right.
Check your tyre pressure.
First driver. Who's up first?
I'll go small
Me
first.
and you.
You. We'll go up first.
Yep.
All right. You know the rules?
Yep.
There is no rules. All right. Okay. Hey,
We're just testing the grip.
you know the rules.
Remember the rules, there's no rules.
Ready? 3, 2, go.
Oh, he's got the inside. That didn't work too good, Russ. That worked terrible, didn't it?
Yeah. These
Didn't see that one coming.
Hey? Just bomb him.
Oh, they're coming hard.
Still that front still got a bit of water on it, eh? Swill, eh? That's good thinking, wasn't it?
Head down.
I think the rules have been sent, mate.
Yep. Oh, you're going to run wide here, Russ. You know he won the Toyota 86 championship,
Did he?
don't you? Yeah.
He's pretty good in these things.
Yeah. Well, he's giving you room.
Give me the bird. He's giving us a bird.
Right, try hard, Russ. Don't let him get away, mate.
I'm on him, mate. I'm on him. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Give him one.
What?
Give him a little one, mate. Just a little.
Oh, they're close to us.
Show him how the enforcer does it, mate. That's you. Get in that hole, mate. Get in that hole. Get in there, Russ. Give him one. Holy shit.
They're always up to their old tricks. Oh,
Oh, dude. She's on the ABS.
He's up. He's still there. still there.
Damn it.
He's still there.
Oh, dude!
What's going on there?
Get ready for the driver change, dude.
We got to do driver change. The push it. Oh, how do we? Wait, we've done no practice. Oh.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, mate.
Ready, go. Way up. Yep. Good. Go, mate, go. Okay.
I'm driving my boat up there.
Oh, where's this going on? Oh, what's it? Oh, whoa! What's the deal?
He said no rules.
I didn't mean cut half the track out.
You said no rules, mate.
Jesus. Hey, these young guns, they got no fear.
They're a bit loose.
Come on, dude. Come on. Rightio, this is it. Got him worried, mate. Look, he's looking in the mirror. We got him worried. Oh, dude. Hang on, dude.
He's gonna push me off.
Oh, we got a bit of push, dude.
Through the sleeper, I reckon it'll be.
Oh, this is not where you pass, dude. Jesus.
Oh, he's on! He's on! He's been hanging out with Del Jr. too much. Oh, they're in here.
Watch the switch back here.
Switch back.
Oh, it didn't work that good.
He got good drive.
Where is he? I need my mirrors. He didn't need the mirror. It's all good. Oh, Jesus. Oh, I reckon a big lunge is coming.
Oh, watch out, dude, watch out. We're on.
Yeah, we got this. I reckon we got him covered now.
Whoa, where you going, dude?
Passing the grass, mate.
Please get on there.
Jesus Christ.
What the hell? What are you on, mate?
Oh, wow. We got there with the toy. He's gone. Yes. Bring it home, mate. Bring it home. Come on, bring it home. Jesus. Dude, bring it home. Go, 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 go. Whoa. Oh, shit.
I thought we were going to hit the trees out there.
Nice work, mate.
Passing the grass.
Stick her in here, mate. Stick her in pit lane. Oh, passing the grass. Jeez, I thought we were gone. I thought we were gone.
That's like Winton, mate.
Huh?
That's like Winton. You can mess out.
I thought you were going
mess
to go
out the
straight
track.
on. I thought we were going to end up in the pits.
As long as you don't gain an advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible. Good bit of stick.
How's that, mate? Passing the grass?
Yeah, it turns out we are flogs.
No rules, mate.
Well, we thought we were going to hit the trees over there.
Mate, I thought we were gone. We're going to that grass. I'm going, we're just going. We go back to the M1.
That was cool.
That's
amazing, dude. That was good.
Well done, guys. Good job.
Good job.
We like the no rules.
Yeah, that's
Mate,
good.
I've got to tell you,
No rules make it fun.
it's one of the
That's
best
good
races
fun.
out in Moore.
That was pretty good, eh?
That was good.
Maybe they should have like co-drivers in the car in every race.
Yeah. Oh, maybe they should do that.
Yeah. We could take fans.
I'd be strapping my belts down tight. I tightened up there.
Say now. Well, what's the saying? Make racing.
Great again.
Come on, better.
Make racing great again.
Let's Wake Nation.
Good job, guys.
Thank you.
Good fun.
You're on your swill. Ready for a beer now, mate?
Yeah, no, I got to drive.
Hey, that was good, dude, wasn't it? Geez, they're a good couple of young lads, aren't they?
Yeah, and the thing I like about those two, they remain themselves.
Yeah, they speak well, and the interview it was actually really interesting, and a lot of people just probably didn't realise how much racing they've done already at such a young age.
At such a young age, they've done a lot of racing, and
they got grunt, they got personality.
I just want to see those. They're the sort of guys I want to watch race.
Yeah.
You know
Exactly
what I mean?
right. Yeah. Someone that doesn't care if someone's smoked them over, they don't mind giving the bird to you on the way past.
Don't mind giving the bird to
no matter who it was.
But then the thing I liked about Brodie was I wasn't going to wreck the guy because I used to working on my own car, so I didn't want to put the mechanics through that stuff.
Yeah, big picture.
Big
already.
picture
Yeah,
already.
Yeah, you're right. No, it's very, very impressive. So I hope, as I said before, I hope bigger and better things for those guys. Right out, we've got a few questions come through. We get so many that we can't do them all. Obviously, the show's long enough as it is, but we got a few, and there's a few good ones I picked out for you.
Okay.
You haven't seen them, dude, so we'll hop straight into it. So this is Scott Winter. It's actually a double-ended question because Steve Coates actually is a similar sort of question, but great show as always. Quick observation and question. We've seen a few safety car-related issues that's caused a bit of controversy. Pukekohe, Bathurst. Instead of closing pit lane completely, could they close pit lane until the entire field is under control, then open the pit lane after the field is compressed?
Yeah, well,
Probably as you're going to have massive double stacking.
you just have a
issues,
massive double stack. So that's what they do in NASCAR and IndyCar. They'll shut the field,
Yep.
control the race, open pit lane, lead lap cars can come down pit lane, and then you've got a frenzy going on and a race off pit lane. The big problem is our tracks and our pit lanes aren't wide enough and long enough.
Yeah, where NASCAR are.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the reality of that is that'll be hard work. Look, this whole safety car is a massive issue. I don't think there's one fix for it because either way, someone's going to get it smoked over at the end of the day. Someone's going to lose out. You can't fix it. There's going to be equal for everyone.
Oh, you can't.
Not why there's one boom for two cars.
Yeah, you've got double stacking. So you've got one crew for two cars, and it's just not going to work.
It's a tough one, and Steve Coates said about a virtual safety car, like Formula 1 they use it. Yeah, so you have to slow down so the gaps remain the same.
That's fine for the competitor, but no good for the show.
Yeah, I still can't work that out.
Yeah,
because the show, you want them compressed,
you
don't
want
you?
to press them up and let them loose again.
Yeah. And I'd like to add to that as well that I brought up on the last show about having a competition yellow that's fan voted, online.
Yeah.
Man, I got shut down.
Did you?
Got shut down.
By the fans?
Yeah, didn't like it.
We've had our own fan for them.
Yeah, that was a first.
That's good.
Yeah, so it was interesting, and I think what that really points out, dude, is the fans don't want manipulated or contrived results. They don't rate. They want flat out racing.
Okay, good.
And I don't think even things like DRS that they have in Formula 1, the wing that folds down to enhance overtaking, that hasn't gone down well, and that's been in for years. So people don't want it contrived. They want it actually raw, normal, proper competition. They don't want it fictitious.
Good.
So yeah, that got shut down on that one. So so no competition yellows.
Aussie fans are a lot more smarter than the American fans.
Yeah,
because the Americans would love that.
The Americans want it.
Yeah, they can get another beer and a hot dog or whatever.
Yeah, they want competition yellows, don't they?
Yeah.
So, rightio, this is Shane Marskell. Hey, Russell, in every sport in this country, the fans know how much the athlete's contract is worth and how long they have signed for. Why don't we know that about V8 supercar drivers? Oh, there you go. I probably could take that one. So I've had a few contracts in my time. I think a lot of other sports is because they're got salary caps.
Yeah.
With the competition they're in, whether it be AFL, so they've got to be made public, obviously to know how much to keep everything under that salary cap with players and the teams, how much the teams spend in total. Motorsport hasn't got salary caps. So they basically
Other sports
paint what
use
they
it
want.
as a media tool as well to get some hype about the sport.
Yeah,
so
yeah, exactly right. So
don't see why you couldn't.
no, it'd be pretty probably difficult because a lot of, as probably other athletes, but I think more so in motorsport, there's a lot of extra deals that players have, individual personal ambassador deals, and a lot of drivers make up probably more than what they get paid in endorsements than they do what they actually get paid as
Off-track
well.
work.
So that's a little bit hard to actually find out.
Would you want
because
people
that's
knowing
not
what you
public.
got paid when you were racing?
No, not at all.
Okay. I
Not at
wouldn't
all.
either.
No, not at all. I think it changed it. I think the problem is money is good to have money, but it's also an evil. And the problem is people's perception of you changes when they know how much money you got.
Yeah.
Is that a fair comment?
Yeah.
You know, it changes. You know, so you know, so I think some things are probably left not public, and that's probably one of them.
I wouldn't want people knowing what I earned. So
yeah, exactly right. Sam Taylor, great show. I just want to ask, as I think many people getting confused as to what aero is in a supercar. Would you be able to explain and display examples as to what parts of the V8 supercar are the main instruments that dramatically influences aero, and why the car is so close behind cannot pass the car in front? Well, we spoke about it a bit with James Courtney in our interview there. So how to just simplify it?
it's a wing on the front of the car and a wing on the rear of the car.
Basically this, Sam. Yeah.
Which, you know, you think about an aeroplane needs speed to take off.
Yep.
Well, if you invert that wing and you create speed, it pushes down.
Push it down.
So you've got one on the front, one on the rear, and the byproduct of that is turbulent air coming off those wings, which means the car following is not as efficient.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
That's basically it. Upside down. Think of that. Think of it that way,
Or
Sam.
look at
Upside down wings, and you think in the aero industry too. That's why they space planes so far apart, because it's the turbulence from the jet engines and the wings coming off.
This guy's going to be 1,000 feet, and there'll be a 500 or 1,000 feet split between the vehicles. But another simpler way, if you see a boat going down the river, you see the wash coming off that boat, the turbulent water.
Yeah.
That's what's happening with the.
Okay, it's a good example.
Yeah.
Okay, so the wash coming off in water is the same as what's coming. It's just you can't see it.
You can't see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and that's what affects the aero in the front of the cars.
And then when they put it in a wind tunnel, they put smoke in the air so you can see it.
See it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Visualise it.
Right, and that's why they want to pull that aero off, because the more aero you have on a car, the more turbulence, which means you can't follow it as close. And that's a problem that F1 are having at the moment. And if you look at Formula One's new drawings, they've come out for the 2021 car, they've taken all the wings off of it. F1s have got like 10 or 12 different little wings on the front. They're down to like 3. The rear wing is really small, so even F1 are going down that road of reduce the turbulence so cars can follow,
or then
and you get back to passing, which they all want to see, which has been a huge problem with Formula 1 at the moment. So good question, Sam, thanks for that. Julianne, you remember Julianne?
Yeah, I know Julianne.
Corona.
How's she going?
Yeah, she's going all right. Yeah,
Still see her at races all the time.
Julianne's a big race fan that's followed us around for years.
Good photographer as well.
And a very good photographer, yeah. She's got a question. Last year, KISS concert goers for Newcastle 500 2019 got first rights to grandstand seats over their loyal supercar supporters that attended all the races throughout. So if it was just a concert goer, they got priority over a supercar supporter.
For a grandstand ticket.
For a grandstand ticket. I had no desire to go to the KISS concert and was angry. If I wanted my same grandstand seat, I'd have to fork out another $150 on top of the $300 odd it normally costs 12 months in advance. So what she's saying is my seat got sold to a concert goer. I had to choose another seat, and now KISS aren't even coming to Newcastle.
Yeah, I'd be pissed off too.
Yeah, that's a major one as well.
Yeah.
Because now those people that bought just concerts tickets are probably going to get their money back and not even go.
Well, the seat will be free anyway.
And the seat will be free. Yeah. So there you go, Julian. Just jump in the seat in any case. But that's, you know, all this year I've been saying, and remember we did the Gary Rogers interview, and I said to him,
this concert.
Yeah, the concert, and you're a fan of the concerts. You said but I stick to my guns on this, dude. That it's too much. We're forgetting about the racing and the race fans, and it's too much about putting on everything around it, concerts and fireworks and all the rest of the crap that goes with it, and we're losing what it's about. It's about the race fan and racing on the track, you know, and looking after the people that follow the sport. You know, not everyone's a concert goer. I get it for the whole show, but I reckon it's the other way around, where it's too much about the show and not enough about the go.
Well, we're going to see. We're going to see at Newcastle, because let's see how many people turn up now that Kiss aren't there. So
yeah, I know.
There's your live test.
Well, and that's the problem where you got when you can control the racing, you can control that part of it, you know they're going to turn up. When you start going down this road of controlling things you can't control, and this sort of thing happens like the concert, man, you're leaving yourself exposed.
Yeah, but you're a promoter in the business. It could rain, 100 things could happen, so...
Yeah, I know. But look after the race.
It's interesting that, but what normally happens in the States, and this happens at Indianapolis and most of the racetracks there, your seat is your seat.
Yep.
So if you've bought that seat to that race, you get first rights to that seat. And then it's not uncommon for a family to have owned some seats at Indianapolis for 40, 50 years, generations.
Same seat,
it gets handed down. They never give it up.
Well, it's good too, because you know they're going to be there every year. So you know your fan base is going to be there all the time.
That's right, yeah. So that's something...
Give an incentive to keep people coming back.
To annualise your seating.
Yeah. Hey, you got some exciting news too, dude. Forcer and the Dude Drive Day. You've been putting something together?
I have been putting, because everyone always sees our corporate days of what we do, and it's designed for a big corporate group to come as a whole, and I thought, everyone wants to do what we do here. Let's put on a corporate day where you can buy 1 ticket or 5 tickets or 2 tickets. So 40 people come and spend a day here with us. Forcer and Dude Drive Day. Do all the things that we like to do. We're going to drive the 86s, going to do the Motor Car and a Wok Challenge, the Supercars, the 4-wheel drives. Keep it under $500.
Okay.
Which is a pretty good day out to drive all those things.
So we'll be here.
We'll be here. We're going to finish off in the bar. So I've set a date, January 11.
Okay, January 11. 2020.
Make sure you're back from holidays.
I'll just be back.
And let's have a good day, and we're going to finish off in the bar here with a few beers and show everyone what we do.
A few photos to take away with them, and it'll be a really good day.
So you can book on the Norwell Motorplex website. We'll stick that up.
Yeah, we'll stick that up at the end of this show, so all the details will come up. So stick around for that and have a look. That's cool.
It's
might
really
become
good
a regular
thing.
So
you get to drive all those cars and obviously hang out with us and do what we normally do. And just our way of, because normally you can't do that unless you're part of a big group. So
exactly right. Oh, it's good. So we're looking forward to that. So have a look at that. Jump online if you're interested in doing it. Get it. I'm tipping it might sell out pretty quick. So you probably want to jump on that pretty fast, I reckon. So
good, big, awesome Christmas present coming up. So
what's your life message, dude? One of the favourite segments of a lot of people. I get a lot of comments back through the sites saying they like it.
I've got a good one.
Okay, fire it at us. Dude's life message.
Learning to lose gracefully is just as important as winning.
Okay. Good message, considering we had our young guns here.
Young guns, Young guns were here.
Not everything goes right all the time.
Not everything goes right all the time, and sometimes you just come second.
And that's how you handle that.
That's how you handle it.
And regroup and go again.
How you handle it.
Okay. That's a very good one, that. And very timely, like I said, considering we had up-and-coming young stars with us in the studio as well.
I think Shane Van Gisbergen, this applies to Shane Van Gisbergen a bit too. Because he was second at Bathurst under controversy. He didn't lose he just stuck to what he could have won that race. And he didn't so I think he's been very gracious the way he's handled a bad situation.
He's learned how to do it too, And that's all part of it, all part of the learning process. That's it, dude. Hey, that's it for the year.
Done, eh?
Done.
Amazing trip, Russ.
It's been good, hasn't it? I mean, look, we've got to thank a lot of people before we sign off on our last show for the year. Obviously, one of the biggest thanks must go to our sponsors who have kept us on the road this year. Firstly, of course, is Castrol, who jumped straight on board. Sue Dilger from Castrol,
Yeah, good on you, Sue.
and Castrol Australia, all the crew from there. I know they've been big supporters of us. They help pay for all the production, and we do it right here. You know, we do it as good as we can. And we had so many requests to get out on the road and do more stuff, but we only could do what we could, and by the response, you guys have liked it, and so big thanks to Castrol Australia for their support. The next ones that jumped on is our friends from DPA. Barry Morecambe and their businesses, direct plasterboard outlets as well up in Sydney. So really big thanks, big supporters of Motorsport as well. And they jumped right on, and been fantastic to have them on board pretty well right from the start. Our friends at Sudao as well. Geez, how good to have them. Sealants and adhesives. Majorly big international company, so to have them on our little show, how cool is that?
And
I mean,
for us to help promote that brand in Australia and choose
they chose us.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good, and they realise the synergy, you know, because let's face it, we're pretty grassroots here. A lot of tradies, you know, watch the show, and they could see a synergy as well. So great to have them on board. I mean, so good, and like I said, an international company to jump on board a little online show was pretty good throughout. But you know, we've had a lot of little supporters along the way as well that have helped us out as well. So
got the mower off Greenfields.
Yeah, Greenfields has been with us right from the start as well, and brought us out all our grassroots segments. Ausdeck as well, Ausdeck Roofing and Patios, they've been on board as well, and we didn't quite get to, we've had a standing invitation from Andrew Shirley to get out in his sprint car. We wanted to do more speedway stuff, but unfortunately we just couldn't, but we'll get to it, you know, there's no doubt about that, because we're both big speedway fans. So thanks to Ausdeck for coming on board as well. And lastly but not least is our crew. Pete Tyrus, all the crews, Cody, Andy, they've been with us right from the start as well. You know, they're all the people that working the cameras behind the scenes as well. Cody doing the editing, so good. I mean,
good editor, isn't he?
He's a good editor. He's good because he has to follow the trail. Yeah. I tell you what, the trail goes really left and right. She's like this circuit. She's got plenty of twists in it. It's really good. And we've thrown a few curveballs with some of the lunatic stuff we've done on track as well. It's been a bit of an eye-opener for those guys as well, especially when we start crashing into each other. I think they started wanting to get the hell out of me, thinking, Jesus, what have we got ourselves into? But yeah, it's been really cool. We're going to have a bit of a highlights reel as well that we're going to throw in the next couple of weeks as well. We're just going to throw all the cool stuff we've done from the year and put it in a big highlights package. So we'll pre-promote that one. Make sure you check that one out. So yeah, it's been great. So that's it. Enforcer and the Dude for 2019 is down and out. We've had an absolute ball. Massive thanks to our fans, of course. For sticking with us, all the support. We've had well over 2 million views.
It's been inspirational stuff, hasn't it, really?
Oh, well, and the amount of industry people as well, Paul, not only the fan base, which has been our obviously the people that we respect the most, but also within the industry. As yourself, you know, you've been going to supercar meetings, TCR meetings, grassroots meetings, and the amount of people that have come up and just all they want to talk about is the show.
Yeah, I do, mate. Right from the flag marshals, officials, people there, right to team owners, right throughout the whole sport. We've got a really good fan base. It's good.
Yeah. Good. Very good effort. All right. So thanks again, and hope you enjoy this episode. Again, it's a bit of a marathon one today. What the hell, you know? Cody's good. He doesn't mind long sleepless nights editing it, so. Should be good.
It is what it is, mate.
It is what it is, yeah, and that's what's cool about what we do. So hopefully we'll see you again back in 2020. Have a great break. Enjoy the last round, obviously, at Newcastle with the supercars and the rest of the racing throughout the year. And we'll enjoy the break and have a Merry Christmas and take it easy on the roads out there too. Cheers, guys.
Take it easy.